Man, what a great time. Hey, by the way, week 6 here in National Football League already. Is that right? I mean, we're already into week 6 of the National Football League. How insane is that already, man? I mean, the one thing about the football season, you can always count on it. This bitch goes quick. We're going into week 7 of the college football season already. What a great weekend, too. A lot of things on the table. By the way, we are powered for the next 4 hours by our friends at BetUS. We appreciate them. Please make sure you check out their website. Tonight, a big game, a must game, I think, for the 49ers versus the Seahawks. Who would have thought 2 of the best quarterbacks in the NFC are playing tonight, Geno Smith and Brock Purdy? Non-first-round draft choices are some of the better quarterbacks in the NFC. One of them is a reclamation project in Geno Smith, and the other one, you found this guy in the 7th round. Final pick. And you know what he's playing for tonight? Not just the 49ers playoff lives, but he's playing for $60 million tonight. That's what he's playing for. He's playing for $60 million tonight. How you doing? Right? You want to even your record and you want to get a must win in your division and in your conference? Win this game tonight. This is why you make that giant money. This is why people are going to debate who you are. It's why they're debating on who Jalen Hurts is. Hit the like button, guys. All super chats go to the top. Hey, by the way, congratulations to you, Philadelphia Philly fans. Can't wait next April, right, to raise the National League East banner. Wow. Man, I can't wait. Are you going to cheer? Are you happy? Oh, by the way, you're knocked out of the playoffs by the Amazings. Mets end up turning their season around. They were like 5 or 10 games under 500, and now they're going to the NLCS. So hang on here. Are you celebrating your National League East pennant that you're going to raise next April? Hey, man. Some of you sound like M. Reyes. Hey, man, 14-3. National League East pennant. Or not a pennant, but kind of, you know. It's a flag. What a disappointment. Huge disappointment. Of all the disappointments the Phillies have had in the last 5 or 6 years, it's got to be the biggest. You won the East. And the Atlanta Braves had kind of had the pink slip on that whole thing. And you end up winning it, and now you're a disaster. M. Reyes, baby. National League East, Sills. National League East. I know the Mets are going on to the NLCS, but hey, man, no worries. As soon as they got down, I went like this. Thing's over. Thing's over. And sure enough, the Mets at Citi Field end up getting it done. I got a text from Bobby Valentine last night because he watches the show, and Bobby V goes, man, they're going to be angry in Philly. I said, you think? They were pinning their hopes on that team because of the way that the Eagles had been playing. M. Reyes, baby. NL East champions. Where are you going to put that flag? Like next to the World Series stuff and all that? Right? Oh, by the way, dear Lord, please let the Dodgers beat the Padres. Man, I was cheering so mad last night. I wanted the Dodgers to get it done, and they did. They forced a Game 5. Dave Roberts, one of the absolute underrated managers in all of baseball, and he's a dear friend of ours. My wife and I love Dave Roberts. Still lives in San Diego in the offseason. And he was on Bud Black's coaching staff in San Diego when he was the manager, Bud, before he went up to Colorado. Yeah, absolutely, man. We love Dave Roberts. He's a little bit Joe Torre, man, and how he manages the Dodgers. By the way, Andrew Friedman is a great friend of ours. He ran the Rays forever on a shoestring budget, and he was able to build that program up with Andrew Friedman and Andrew Silverman and all them guys. Stu Sternberg and all them guys who built that and bought it from Vince Namoli. Boy, I'll tell you what, too, man. We got to pause here for a second. Hurricane Milton ended up going through the west coast of Florida, and it just wreaked a ton of havoc. Tropicana Field loses its top. The field is like ruined right now. They're going to have a lot of mop up. This thing looks like the Superdome after Katrina, and roads are underwater. There's a lot of people with carnage in their homes. Homes' roofs were ripped off, businesses as well. People have died. So our hearts and prayers go out to everybody in Florida. So as a recovery, I think. By the way, Ron DeSantis, you're a stud. Dude, you're a stud. Now, again, you're in a state that prepares for this because you are in a state that gets hurricanes. So you know how to act through all this. This is not like something that you're surprised Florida gets hurricanes. Hey, welcome to reality. That's what happens. But Ron DeSantis is doing a great job, man. Okay? Well, just an absolutely great job. Keep it up there. By the way, that has nothing to do with politics. That's just doing the right thing. And Governor DeSantis is doing a great job. Okay? Great job. Look at M. Reyes talking shit on him, and he's doing a great job saving lives of all Americans and all Floridians. See, again, he'll politicize it. Saving a dog or saving someone's life has nothing to do with politics, dude. Okay? Okay? Has nothing to do with it. Has nothing. This is about saving lives. So, peace to everybody, man. Hopefully you get out of that there. All right, hit the like button here. Massive game for your Eagles on Sunday. Massive game. By the way, I went back and listened. I had to. I couldn't just leave that hanging there. Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts. Okay? I couldn't just leave that hanging there. By the way, great college football week too as well. Hit the like button. Appreciate all coming aboard here. By the way, the legendary Philly 500 will be with us at 5:30, and we will get his take. We're going to do the takeaways with Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni. But here, let's do this. So I'm going to take one of the comments out of Jalen Hurts' presser that he did yesterday and ask you what you think this means. Okay? We've seen and been through a lot of adversity. What does that mean? Nick and I have seen and been through a lot of adversity. What exactly is he talking about? You went to a Super Bowl. You were 14-3. You've never missed the playoffs. Let me use an M. Reyes line. So let me get this right. You've never missed the playoffs. You have won an NFC title. You have come within inches of winning a Super Bowl. What exactly is he talking about with adversity? What is he talking about? By the way, this NovaCare Summit was called, and he goes, I'm glad that we could come together and in harmony come away with, we're the leaders of the team. Is this a fucking epiphany after 4 years that just now he's realizing those are the two faces of the franchise and that it needed to have a summit? What exactly does this mean? I mean, help me out here. Where are we going with this? Is this just all talk? Is this all talk? I mean, Hurts sounds like a diva. Well, I'm really glad that we could come together in harmony. And in the bye week, we were able to air things out. What exactly is he talking about? Air what out? I thought these problems were behind them. Get this. You see this right here? I'm going to show you why this comment is stupid. How many people believe that bringing 2023 up is old news? How many people believe that? That bringing up last year, like Xander says, is old news? How many people believe that? Okay? How many people believe last year? It is old news, but we talk about it every day. So does Nick Sirianni. And let's get to it. And I'll start right there. M. Reyes, thank you for the content. Appreciate it. Nick Sirianni says we don't look at just the last 4 games. This is a 4-year process. Shit, I'm not even going back 4 years. He's going back 4 years on how we do things and the things we did over the last 4 years. Fuck, I'm just doing last year. Nick goes over the last 4 years. He said it in his presser. That's the most telling thing. So when Xander brings up 2023 and John McMullen or whomever shuts him down, why the fucking head coach doesn't? He brings it up all the time. He brought it up again today or yesterday. M. Reyes is full of shit. The head coach goes back 4 years. I'm only going back last year. That guy goes back 4 years. So when you guys say bringing up 23 is old news, not to the coach it ain't, not to that organization. You're all full of shit. 23 matters to them. Why wouldn't it matter to you? Why wouldn't it matter to you? The only people that think it doesn't matter is guys and dickheads like M. Reyes. The fucking head coach said yesterday, we go back 4 years and look how we do shit. They go back 4 years. I was like, shit, man, I'm only going back last year. That's exactly right, Charlie. It shows they can't fix it. Dude, get this. Old news. Why you keep bringing up 23? Because the head coach does. Here, let's get into it. Don't ever tell Xander not to talk about 23. Okay? Dude, this has nothing to do with what I'm fucking talking about. Nothing. The head coach doesn't, here, let's get into his words. Because M. Reyes is a fool. And he's part of the misinformation. Here, I didn't think that the Nick Sirianni presser would say anything. He said a lot in it. Okay? Now, wait a minute. Jersey goes, hell, let's go back to 1980. Why? He had nothing to do with 1980. Nothing. He's talking about how he did business in the last 4 years. Here, Devin White, first question out of the box. Really a good guy. What does that have to do with anything? Who cares if he's a good guy? Where in the world does the number one priority start with why you cut a guy with he's a really good guy? Who cares? I don't care if that guy's Satan. Why'd you cut him? They couldn't answer it. He couldn't answer it. Nick was asked a couple weeks ago, and so was Vic Fangio. We're going to need him. We're going to need him sometime this year. What changed? Was it to play it? Then he comes up with some bullshit saying that Trotters practiced well. What? Then that stuff out of that place is it's a house of lies. Jeremiah Trotter showed you in practice. We evaluate our players a lot from practice and not the games. By the way, Nick goes on to say he really likes the linebacker room. How could you like anything off that defense right now and give it kudos and not be more critical of it? Why can't you tell the truth? The linebacking core hasn't played well at all. Zach Bond's been up and down, but the rest of it's been ass. Why can't he say that? Jeremiah Trotter's not that good. Not yet. Where are you getting that from? He's never been on a field to play yet. Man, oh man. What a bunch of liars. How do you take anything that place says and give it face value? I didn't realize how many more lies were going to come out of that guy's face until I watched the press conference. And you know what all of you are doing? Everyone that listens to that thing and covers that team, you're enabling it by not asking harder questions. Dude, how are you evaluating how a player plays off of a guy hitting a donut? They think they're better than they are, and this is their problem Sunday. Take the points in the Browns. Dude, take the points in the Browns. I'm telling you. That team thinks they're better than they are. They're not that good. They think they are. We know better because what we see in a guy going through drills in a practice that you barely practice for 40 minutes. That's what Nick Sirianni said yesterday. I was flabbergasted. I'm like, where are you coming up with that? Not one linebacker outside of Zach Bond has shown any capability of making a play. And you like the linebacker room. How do you know this? Why? Because you saw a guy hitting a bag in a drill. He's a bull-faced liar. But you see, you got to remember, he's being directed to lie like this. Dude, get this. Someone's going to chime into the show now, and they're going to tune in and go, Sileo's, dude, you want to hate on something? Just watch a Nick Sirianni or a Jalen Hurts press conference. It's easy to hate. Self-evaluation, he said. I mean, when he was asked the question, he went into this Kamala Harris answer that I had no idea what he was talking about. How are you going to fix the economy? Well, you know, when I grew up with a single mom and, you know, our neighborhood was diverse and we had really great, you know, character in our family. How are you fixing the freaking economy? I felt like I was listening to like that kind of shit. I was like, Nick, self-evaluation, your defense stinks. Your offense has been up and down. Your quarterback can't carry people other than the stars if they're not on the field. How in the world, where are you getting that? Answer the question. He is such a bad dude. Every time they roll him out in front of the microphone, you start laughing because if not, you'll get pissed. Right, Kathy. Word salad Nick. Hey, Nick, how are you going to fix the defense in the linebacker room? Well, I worked at McDonald's. And, you know, when I was a young kid, and you're like, dude, what are you talking about? I had no idea where he was going. Troutter's now second team. Okay, I'm cool with it. Sure, okay. You have to be obsessed with getting better. We got some sort of coach's speech out of the guy, too. Got to be obsessed with getting better. I mean, look, Coach Rockney, save it. Save it, Coach Rockney. This guy gives you, he's Harry High School. You know, I want guys, that, you sleep it, you die on it, everything. So wait a minute. So you think you got guys on your team that are asking to play Fortnite and doing podcasts, and you think those guys want to die for it? Is that how you're looking at that? When Avonte Maddox is asking Mike Evans to play computer with him, and Slay is looking to be on a podcast with a cowboy, and you're going to play him in about 4 weeks? Really? That's dying on the vine? What? I don't know what he's talking about. This guy's talking things that don't exist. He's talking about players that are not on that team. I don't know what he's talking about. Maybe you guys do. Maybe you're used to bullshit. Here's the quote. When asked the question about Nick, you go back 4 games. Nobody wanted to bring up 23. Here's Nick's exact quote. That everyone gets mad at me and Xander when we bring up 23. 4 games? No. We not only go back with the 4 games, but we go back 4 years. We go back and take a look at our process, what we did, how we coached, how we got the result. And we go back 4 years and we look at how we've done business when it comes to moving the chains. It's not just 4 games. That's a small sample size, according to him. But according to guys like M. Reyes and shit, last year doesn't matter. That's not the truth. Because the coach and the organization, they go back 4 years. Not just last year. Hell, I was giving them the benefit of not going back to 4 years and giving them last year and right now the first 4 games. No way. They go back further. So when you guys say, stop bringing up 23, well, I'll stop bringing it up when the Eagles stop using 23 and the last 4 years. He brought up the last 4 years. I mean, Crutney, I'm not even going there. Says we got to start faster. Well, that would be an epiphany. Nice job, Nick. You're the only team in the league that hasn't scored in the first quarter. Really, you think? Yeah, we're going to go back and look at how we did things. You can't, Nick, because the things that how you started fast was because you ran RPO. You scored fast because teams couldn't stop the RPO. Defenses are not. Do you know why the Eagles got out to a strong start and why the Eagles have always started strong during the Sirianni era? It's because teams are not built to stop the RPO. It's like playing against the Wishbone or Navy. Why do you think Navy upsets Notre Dame or they beat teams they're not supposed to beat? You know why? Teams don't practice against that style. How many teams do you think in the NFL practice against the style of offense the Eagles are trying to execute right now? 32? 28? But when you run that RPO, why do you think Lamar Jackson, besides the great skilled player that he is, why do you think that is such a tough cover? Because nobody runs that offense. It's a one-of. Everybody runs the Joe Burrow offense. Everybody runs the Jordan Love offense. Everyone. Okay? Everyone. But they don't run the style. Do you understand what the Eagles have done to their offense? It's simple. You became like everyone else. It's easy to defend. Xander says this all the time. Am I right, Xander? Lee caught up with him. No. You went with what the rest of the league is doing. That's how they caught you. With a quarterback that's not capable of running a pro-style offense. The league didn't catch you. The league did not catch up to Jalen Hurts. The Eagles sabotaged what he did. You leveled the playing field. Why do you think Lamar Jackson is a tough cover? Like I said, besides of the great skill, what you've done is become like the rest of the teams. It's easy to defend Hurts. One, he's not a pro-style quarterback. And secondly, the reason that the INTs and the turnovers have come at a bigger clip is because he's doing shit he's not skilled at doing. Case closed. Case closed. And by the way, these are facts. This is not an opinion. I mean, this is not. Get this. Once again, Jalen Hurts is so below average right now as a quarterback. There are the lower end guys playing better. The two quarterbacks tonight are superior to him. You want to hear something? How many people think Aaron Rodgers has played poorly for the Jets? In the last 22 games, he's got 33 touchdown passes and 16 picks. Mahomes has 33 touchdowns and 20 picks. And right now, Aaron Rodgers is playing the worst quarterback of his life. And he's got the same numbers as Mahomes. He's got more touchdowns than Hurts. He's actually played better than Jalen. And he's not playing anywhere near that. I mean, think about it. I mean, Jalen Hurts is so far from elite. I mean, it's mind-numbing. Geno Smith is better. I see people in there saying, Hurts has no ceiling. It's word salad. Nick says that during the bye, there's so much more room to grow. Okay. He said, and someone asked the question about communicating between the owner. Remember what we brought up? Got to have the owner, GM, quarterback, and the coach for you to be a successful championship team. I don't think you have any of it. I think you got a really good owner. I think you've got a meddling GM who can't draft. I think your quarterback is below average. And I think your head coach is below average. That's why you'll never be a championship team. John McMullen, I heard the question he asked about Robert Saleh. John did it very politically and nice. Hey, with Robert Saleh being fired, John basically was hinting around about mortality of his job. And Nick is right to say it this way. You worry about things you can't control. It's just, as Nick Saban would say, it's just poison. He's right. That's where he's right. Can't worry about that shit. And by the way, one of the reasons why you don't worry about it, he's got another year on his contract at $8 million. So if you were to fire him, you owe him $16 million. 8 this year, 8 next year. I mean, at the end of the day here, hey, by the way, when's the last year of Nick Sirianni's contract? Next year? There's no way they extend him, do they? Are you going to let Nick go in? Are you going to extend him this offseason? He's got one more year next year. He's going into a final year of his contract next year. Are you extending him in the offseason? If you're Howie Roseman and you're the owner, are you extending him? Okay? Are you extending him? He's been to playoffs 4 years in a row, 3 years in a row, whatever it is. Got a winning record. Are you extending him in the offseason? Is that By the way, let's do it this way. Is that a priority? Will they let Nick coach out like Mike McCarthy this year and go into his final year? So these next 13 games are going to determine that. Do you agree? Right? These next 13 games. Because here's what you have going on here. You got Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator, and you got a head coach going into the final year of his contract. Who's a priority? Jalen Hurts and his coordinator, or Nick Sirianni and his final year of his contract? What's a priority? That's on the horizon now for the Eagles. These next 13 games, Nick Sirianni's coaching for his extension. Hit the like button. Am I wrong? Let's do this. As of October 10th, are you extending him in the offseason? I say no. And if anything, I'm giving the job to Kellen. Right? So Nick Sirianni right now, you're going to let him coach into his final season with no contract. Okay. I mean, Eagle fan goes, I don't want Moore as head coach. Well, if a new head coach comes in, he's going to be a play calling head coach. Jalen will have another coordinator. Dude, I'll say it one more time to you. Jalen Hurts will have a new coordinator in 2025. There's no getting around it. He may have a new head coach and a new coordinator in 25. That just shows you the inability of the Eagles to develop coaches. By the way, not only are you horrible at developing defensive coaches, you can't develop, or defensive players, you can't develop coaches. What coach have you developed? Jeff Stoutland? Jeff Stoutland was already a great coach. He was already considered one of the premier coaches in the NFL and at the college level. And by the way, Nick Saban developed him. Jeff Stoutland is a Nick Saban guy. And he's also a Ed Ogeron guy. Are you really going to extend him? Getting A.J. Brown back is going to help. Really, what an epiphany. Let's get to Jalen Hurts here. He's even more classic. By the way, I'm sick of his face too. And the way he talks. Guy couldn't even answer Nick Sirianni, Devin White's whole thing. Here's Hurts. Bye week. Time to get away and work on some things. Earth-shattering. He says this was one of the most efficient bye weeks he's had as a professional. They asked him why. He couldn't answer it. Or maybe he didn't want to, which is smart. You don't have to give those creeps anything. You don't have to say anything to them, guys. You owe them nothing. Okay? You really do. You owe them nothing. That's why Rodgers toys with the media. It's funny. I love it. Conspiracy theory. He's a politician. They're all pissed off at him, and he goes on Pat McAfee. The only reason that Colin Cowherd goes knee deep and ass deep into Aaron Rodgers is because of his political beliefs and because he goes on the Pat McAfee show. And he goes on the same time that Colin's on. So what he does is he attacks him, knowing little that he promotes McAfee's show even more. And he knows that. But he wants a little bit of McAfee. You understand? It got nothing to do with Rodgers. It's got everything to do with the viewership of McAfee. That's what content's about. It's not really who's involved. It's who watches it. It has nothing to do with really Aaron and his takes or how he's playing. How many people are watching that segment with Aaron Rodgers? Is the only like one of the reasons why I love Philly 500 is because a lot of people watch him. By the way, more people watch him than some journalists and many of the journalists with the Inquirer. Do you understand that? He's good and he's got a great following. Well, that's up my alley. I'm not putting some stuff on no one cares about. I don't care who he writes for. He could write from the Washington Post. He could write for the Wall Street Journal. I don't care. Who's watching you and how many? Are you relevant? That's all I care about. That's why I don't put stiffs on. I'd rather do a 4-hour show by myself than put some stiff on that I've never heard of. I mean, it's not working. I've never done that in my 32 years. Hey, let me put a guy from the Inquirer on that no one knows. Marcus Hayes is the legend. He said something. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit that like button. We appreciate it. By the way, all super chats go to the top. So here's Jalen Hurts. Had to go with what we know. I mean, I don't know. I have to play clean football. That I agree with. Have to trust everyone that's out there. Well, you know? Does Jalen have a problem when the top flight guys aren't out there? He don't trust the rest of the players that come in relief? You know what that's called? That's called not doing your job. The great quarterbacks don't care who's playing Y and Z. And it just so happens if you have A.J. Brown or you have Devontae Smith, so Jalen's ability and his focus diminishes, and his ability to read the defenses and understand his own offense diminishes because he doesn't have the right personnel that he thinks he can move the chains with because he doesn't trust them. There's part of your problem. He doesn't believe the entire roster. He believes in AJ and Devontae. Targets dictate that. Targets dictate that. Okay? The targets dictate that. All right? Get this. He just confirmed what I've been saying for 2 days. He's fine with the top receivers winning one-on-ones. Can't read other coverages. I mean, he said that. He did. Slay, hey, Slagger, I know. I heard it too. This guy has no confidence in anybody else other than Devontae Smith and AJ, and his play shows it. When they're not out there, the passing game goes to dick, and that's on him, not elevating the other guys and making the other guys step up and do their job. Hey, dude, you can't wave a white flag if you don't have your favorite toys out there with you. That's what Hurts is doing. He's waving a white flag. He said it in his presser. Hey, do you think that a lot to do with, and even Nick confirmed it, do you think a lot of the offense has a lot to do with the personnel that's out there? And he goes, of course it does. Okay, but does that mean that the quarterback then turns around and says, hey, man, it's great to get familiar faces back in the huddle, and it's good to see those guys out there. You have more of a confidence level with those guys being out there than you do with people that you really haven't played with. And I went like this. Why are you saying that publicly? That you have no confidence in Paris Campbell and you have no confidence in the rest of these guys. That's unbecoming. By the way, this guy over here, there's a couple guys in there, says that I'm obsessed with bashing Hurts. I'm using his own words against him. It's very easy. Dude, it's easy. These are not my words. These are not my words. I'm not hey, I'm just echoing what he said at a press conference. Why are you mad with what Hurts said? Why are you mad when the coach says that we go back 4 years when I've been saying I'm going only back a year? Stop bringing up 23. The coach is bringing up 21. You contradict yourselves because you don't know what you're talking about. You think you do and you think I don't. The coaches and the players echo everything I say, including Vic. They echo everything I say. Everything I say. The shit you're saying is what you hear from the media, which is completely wrong. You guys all first thought that Nick made all the decisions. He never at any time in his entire coaching career has made a decision that impacted that football team, except those shitty analytic calls at the end of games. He hasn't had one person. How many people in here think that Nick Sirianni's had one personnel decision? You know what? I'll tell you where I think he had one. Zach Pascal. Because he got him from Indianapolis. Zach Pascal, I think, is the only guy he's ever had any kind of influence on when it came to getting personnel. Okay? Other than that, he's had no say in anything. But you guys all thought it. Stupidly. Get this. Hurts was asked about hard coaching. He says it's a different style. Now, look, you don't have to be an asshole to somebody to coach somebody hard. You could just be critical of the mistakes that they make and work on the mistakes that they make. You know the one thing that the Eagles do coaching-wise that's a fundamental flaw in my eyes on how they coach Hurts? They're coaching all the things he can't do, which is right. But they don't do the things that he does great. Did you hear what I just said? They're coaching him in all the things that he does poorly. And they don't use any of the things that he does great. I don't think Hurts is a coach killer. I think the Eagles are player killers and quarterback killers. I think they kill every quarterback they have in there. Killed Wentz, killing Hurts. Stupid decision on Foles. What quarterback decision have they had in the last 8 years that you thought was a good one? Wentz, Foles, Hurts, and how they've handled their careers. In all those careers, the only thing they did with Hurts that was different was give him more talent and paid him more. They haven't developed him. It's the same shit. Here's Jalen talking about the new offense. He said this. You know, the new offense with Kellen Moore the first 4 weeks was used to, that, and also the in and out of the personnel made it a little bit more difficult to move the sticks and be consistent because of the players that were coming in and out and the new offense. And you guys thought this shit was going to be resolved 4 months. This is unbelievable. Get here. Kellen's new offense and a lack of the personnel was different in the first 4 weeks. I thought this guy had no turnovers in camp, ESP. I thought he had the greatest camp of his entire life. What happened? You started playing real football. That's what happened. Instead of going on that bullshit that Nick Sirianni tells you that they evaluate all their players off of practice. Jalen Hurts had the greatest camp, right? We were told. Had the greatest camp since he's been an Eagle. It hasn't reflected his play. What happened? Someone answer that to me before I read Daniel. Daniel, thank you. I was told, and we were all told, that Hurts has had the greatest camp since he's been the starting quarterback. Xander based his numbers off of what he heard and all the great people saying about how well he looked in practice. The ball never hit the ground. He threw one pick in 2.5 months or a month and a half of training camp. All the two-a-days. That hasn't reflected his play so far. Philly used to be considered a place that could develop quarterbacks. The more power Howie has gotten, the worse the quarterbacks have become. Sirianni stinks. Thank you, Daniel. All super chats go to the top. Hurts had the greatest camp because he was going against our defense. But Daniel, don't look at it like that. Look at it like Sirianni said they evaluate players off that same fundamental mentality that you're questioning now. Okay? They're evaluating off of that metric. Guy running bags, guy running tires, guy tackling. Now they're tackling people. I don't know. It looks so high schoolish. Dude, that's not a pro-run organization by the coaching staff. You don't have professional coaches in there right now because there's too much from the upstairs people in dictating what players play and what players don't play. Devin White, like you said, never had a chance to make the team. He never had a chance to make the team because of his contract. Not that he was going to be great. And by the way, let me ask you this. There was a great question asked about the depth of the linebacking core. You know what Nick said? I really like the young guys we have now. Based on what, Nick? Based on what? Get this. Ask yourself why the follow-up question from a reporter wasn't, Nick, you say you like the linebacking core. Based on what? Your linebackers get blown off the ball. They don't tackle good. You're one of the worst tackling teams in the league. Where are you basing that off of? That's right. Sirianni was even praising Avonte Maddox, who's been atrocious. Where in the world are you gaining this from? Why are you lying to the fans, media, and everyone else? Dude, I didn't really believe the press conferences that I heard from both bullshit artist Jalen Hurts and bullshit artist number 2, Nick Sirianni. I thought they were just going to be word salads like, but they're lying to you, telling you things are okay. I mean, Sanders right. Nick Sirianni's a serial liar. Talking about finding an identity. What identity? Here. We two leaders of the team. We have to work in harmony. Nick and I. And I'm glad we came to the conclusion that we were able to come together in harmony. We had great communication. I mean, so this summit, that just happened? Why? What do you think was so wrong that you needed to have some sort of like pseudo summit at NovaCare with your head coach to straighten what out? Like some of you in here, you don't think there's a problem. Listen to how the organization talks. They don't talk like champions. It's all over the joint. Dude, I'm sorry. I don't see it. I'm sorry. I don't see it. I don't see leadership. I don't see players getting better. I can't wait for Sunday. There's not a chance in hell they're going to play great. You know why? You're worried about other things. Fortnights, podcasting, summits. Dude, the Eagles didn't need a summit between the head coach and the quarterback. They needed to be out on the field practicing their mistakes. Having some hardcore conversations about what's right and wrong and working not and working what is. That's what you needed to have. You needed to have real life sense of urgency shit. Not this crazy ass like Big Brother house. I feel like I'm watching an episode of Big Brother. It's like Big Brother. I mean, honest to God, what an absolute unprofessional football team you have, led by an unprofessional head coach. Completely. Dude, the one thing at least the Browns have going into this thing, you have Kevin Stefanski and you have Jim Schwartz going into this thing. You may have the wrong quarterback, and probably do, but you don't have the wrong leadership. Kevin Stefanski, if I'm not mistaken, didn't he get the Browns to the playoffs last year with Joe Flacco? Okay? Look at this here. I'm feeling like Jalen Hurts going to cook this weekend. It's the worst team in the league, according to Xander. They have no good players. Browns are playing horrible. They can't win any games. And you'll blow them out by 20. Yeah, you should. Yes, sir, baby. Hey, I'm trying to figure out here. Hey, Howie, baby. Howie Vision. They couldn't even answer. Why couldn't you answer? Why couldn't Nick Sirianni just say this about Devin White? He wasn't good enough. But you see, you got to go back and cover the lie, because the lie that you lied about and the lie that you lied. And then you got to tell me how much you like him. What does that have to do with making a team or an impact on a football team? Remember that Denzel Washington movie, Like You? I don't have to like you. I got to do right by my team. Liking you ain't has anything to do with this. Like you. That's totally irrelevant whether I like you. It has nothing to do with it. How simple is this one from Jonathan Cook? Hey, man, stop the drama. Go play some ball. Okay. Hey, Jonathan. Jonathan, let's have a fantasy here for a second. How do you think Mike Tomlin would address the media? Can I do a Mike Tomlin? using Nick Sirianni's answers. This is actually going to be funny. I'm gonna answer the way I think Mike Tomlin would have answered all the questions that Sirianni was asked. The best thing to happen is if the Eagles lose and the head coach gets canned and we get some real coaches in here. Well, that won't be till the end of the year. Let me answer how I think Mike Tomlin would answer these questions. Let's fantasize, my friend. Okay? Mike, why didn't Devin White? What led into his being released? Player wasn't good enough. Plain and simple. This is accountability league. And, we brought him in, gave him an opportunity. We didn't feel that he was in the right position to help our football team. And so this is what we do. There's a standard set here in Pittsburgh. And at that linebacker position where we've had James Harrison, we've had Joey Porter Jr., we've had Jack Ham, Andy Russell, and Jack Lambert. There's a standard that's set here in Pittsburgh to play linebacker. And he didn't fulfill that. We wish him well. Am I wrong? Here's the second one. What do you make of your linebacker room? Long way to go. They're young, and the first 4 weeks have been up and down. Nakobe Dean has to pick his game up. I'm answering how I think Mike Tomlin would answer these Nick Sirianni lob balls. Dude, it's like listening to Howard Stern do an interview with the VP. Self-evaluation. Coach, did you have a chance in the bye? We always self-evaluate our coaches and our play and our team. That's what we do here. Okay? We're not playing good enough ball. We are not playing championship ball. That's the standard in Pittsburgh. Mike, what about, you and how you looked at everything? All I care about is this football team playing and getting better, and everybody on the football team getting better. That's all I care about. That's all I care about. Not this obsessive, like coach word salad Nick gave you. I was like, shut up. Then he goes into the famous one. 4 games last 4 years. 4 games last 4 years. Okay? How we do things here in Pittsburgh, we go back 60 years because we've only had 3 head coaches. In 60 years. I don't have to explain to you what we do here. You see it in our results. Coaches like Tomlin don't have to tell you how they look at things. Mike Tomlin will tell you flat out. They've had 3 coaches in 60 years in Pittsburgh. He don't owe you anything. You know why? Because the results speak to themselves. Pittsburgh may not have the best team. They may not have the best quarterback. But I think what they got is the head coach and the owner and the GM. They always get that right in Pittsburgh. And that's why they're always hanging around the rim. What gets them across the finish line is when they have a quarterback, Roethlisberger, Bradshaw. They don't have that. A lot of teams, get this, you know how many teams go through that not having the right quarterback and lose? Dude, if you think that the Philadelphia Eagles are a more successful program than the Steelers, you're out of your freaking minds. The Steelers are the gold standard in how you run a franchise. Like I said, they may not have the right quarterback, but they don't. And they don't. They're winning games with a wildcat quarterback. That's how good that guy is. Here's a beautiful way that he would have answered that Robert Saleh question that John McMullen asked him. Do you remember what happened a year ago or whatever it was? Someone asked him about a college job like Notre Dame. Remember how pissed off he got? Mike Tomlin goes, nobody asks a question of a head football coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Your name's being brought up for the Notre Dame job. You know what he was doing? He was validating the Steeler job by saying this: Notre Dame versus the Pittsburgh Steeler job? Are you insane? Why would you ask Mike Tomlin that question? I thought it was a tad racist. Mike Tomlin, Steelers? Hoss, the Cowboy job's not a better job than the Steeler job. The Jets job's a joke. Who would think the Jets are a good job? Why? Because they're in New York? Same story for a decade-plus organization. Want to strike gold. Can't build a consistent winner, develop players on both sides of the ball. Don't pick real coaches. Our fans are biased to the truth, Sills. Thank you, Hades. I appreciate that. All super chats go to the top. Look at this guy here. Notre Dame Natty champs. Do you understand in the last 70 years or last 64 years, Notre Dame has won 2 national titles, 1973 and 1988. They haven't been in contention for a national title in over 37 years. Notre Dame will never win a national title ever again. They're a blown up version of Stanford. Why do you think Brian Kelly left Notre Dame? Because LSU gave him a better chance to win a national title and pay him more. Brian Kelly used Notre Dame as a stepping stone. Notre Dame's a stepping stone job. Coaches at Notre Dame. Says, why do you think about a possible Slay trade? I'm going to get to that. I'm cool with any return. Give me a bologna sandwich. Who cares? I'll get to that here in a second. Notre Dame's never going to win. They don't redshirt. They pay a little bit on nil. Notre Dame? Dude, the Duke quarterback they got sucks. Nobody goes to Notre Dame. Why? Because they believe in their diploma more. When you're a college player, you don't believe in diplomas. You want a degree that folds in your wallet. Most people that go to Notre Dame become politicians, doctors, and lawyers, not football players. That's not a program you go to become a pro. Do they get good players? Yes. Do they get good teams? No. Notre Dame hasn't had a good team in decades. They get good players. Yes. Get this. Barb asked a great question. Is that a bad thing? Yeah. When your number one objective is to make it to the NFL. When you go to Yale and Harvard and Notre Dame and Stanford, Barb, you're going there for other reasons. You're going there because most of the time, less than 1% make it to the NFL. You're going for a great degree that gets you in the door at Johnson & Johnson or gets you into Sara Lee or gets you into some corporate company. Hathaway, Bircher, and all that. All those kind of companies. Fortune 500 companies. Because most of the time, you're not going to make it to the pros. So you got a hell of a degree. When you go to Alabama and you're a football player, you think you're actually trying to be a lawyer? Get this. Once again, MRA's not knowing the landscape. Notre Dame was back in the day when the 85-man scholarship was not intact. When the NCAA came in and made the 85-man scholarship, all those schools like Notre Dame and Oklahoma and Ohio State and Nebraska and all these guys, you couldn't sign 200 players anymore. And then with the requirements that Notre Dame kept intact, when they recruit 20 players at Notre Dame, you know how many they get? 5. When Alabama recruits 20, they get all 20. Like I said, and Ray, it's just stupid. He can't hear me. Notre Dame gets good players. You just don't have good teams. This guy's a dummy, man. Notre Dame hasn't had a decent team. They get beat by Northern Illinois. Northern Illinois beats them. At Notre Dame. Northern Illinois goes into South Bend and beats them. Okay? Dude, Vanderbilt plays in the Southeastern. Here, let me give it to you a little bit better on Vanderbilt. Hey, Xander, am I right when I say that? If Vanderbilt played in the Big Ten or Big 12, they'd win it. They play in the Southeastern Conference. They play in the SEC. You're not playing Kansas and them other shitty schools in the Big 12. You're playing Kentucky, Tennessee, A&M, Alabama, Georgia in consecutive weeks. You're not playing Northwestern, Iowa, Indiana, Rutgers, and shitty programs. Holy cow. Word Salad Nick was really working hard, brother. Right? Get this. Zach Martin is a CPA, according to Dan Sileo. Once again, too, because I know you're a Cowboy fan, so that means that you usually have cow chips in your fucking brain, and you're not listening. I said Notre Dame gets good players. They don't have good teams. What good team did Zach Martin play on? I must have missed that one at Notre Dame. Can you help me? I must have missed that one. What great team does Zach Martin play at Notre Dame? When has Notre Dame had a good team in 20 years? Help me out on that. Help me out on Keith Hamilton playing on a great team. Hook me up in this. I can't remember. How come every time when they play an SEC team, they get rolled? Okay? Hey, by the way, I remember the Catholics packing the convicts. Hey, that was the greatest victory of your life after we had annihilated you. And you know the coolest thing of my career? Beating Notre Dame and those guys up there, or at our place, actually, 58-7. The worst ass beating Notre Dame has ever had was at my hands. You're welcome. Then you thought you were going to come down and beat us the following time, and we beat you 20-0. So, like, in 2 times we played them, Xander, we beat them 71-7. How you doing? Mess with my Canes. Notre Dame was like a filet mignon, cooked well with fava beans. Yeah. You kicking that Catholic ass. How you doing? Served with a Chianti and a little fava beans. Oh man, how you doing? A fine Chianti. Hit the like button. This is too much fun here. Yeah, hey, how come Nikki Dude, I'm telling you, Nick's a Frenchman. He's no Italian. He can't be. That guy cannot be Italian. He can't be Italian. There's no way. He's a Frenchman. Did you play with The Rock? No, he was after me. He was after me. But he's made an appearance here on the JAKIB, of course, because he idolizes Big Sills. That's a fact, by the way. Hey, look at there. Zani. This guy's a paisan, as far as I'm concerned. Look at this guy. Lou Holtz. I almost played for that guy, but not at Notre Dame. At Minnesota, believe it or not, he recruited me. I took a trip, too. I actually liked my trip to Minnesota. It was a legendary program. They had won many national titles in the past. They had great players to come out of there. I was going to go to Iowa or Minnesota or a couple other places because I was recruited to go wrestle for Dan Gable. I almost wrestled for Dan Gable. Every time Dan's in town, my family and I go see him. I love Dan Gable. I was going to wrestle heavyweight for him. And, yeah, here. I love showing that picture. Coach Gable, they told me I could wrestle and play football at Iowa. Of course, Dan Gable's won, I think, like 13 or 14 national championships. In wrestling and all those Big Ten titles. And I had to introduce my daughter to him. Dan Gable, daughter. And every time he's in town, there's big sales with Dan Gable. Guy that recruited me. I was going to play football for Hayden Fry and wrestle for him. He gave us back stage passes. He won an Olympic gold medal. And he's considered one of the greatest Olympians in American history. And he recruited me heavily to go wrestle at Iowa. So, hey, come on now. Come on now here. Chuck, who's Dan Gable? You don't know, Barb, who Dan Gable is? I believe he was 121 in wrestling. Something like that. One of the absolute greatest American. He was a legend. And Hayden Fry goes, you can come play at Iowa. They were going to the Rose Bowls at times. Okay? Okay? Notre Dame. I told you, man. Big Sills story. Jerry Fouts recruiting Big Sills to go to Notre Dame. Where are the chicks? They're across the street at St. Mary's. What? Yeah, they're across the street at St. Mary's. There's no women at Notre Dame? It wasn't co-ed yet. Come again? No chicks, no Big Sills. I don't go to school with dudes. I don't go to bars with dudes. And I don't go to bars with dudes. And I'm surely not going to college with no chicks. That ain't happening. He goes, where are you going next on your recruiting trip? I go, Miami. Miami. I go, where are the chicks? They're across the street at St. Mary's. What? There's no women at Notre Dame? No. Not happening. Who do you think I want to be on? Who do you think I'm trying to join the Navy? I'm going to go on a boat? Like joining the Navy. I got a hammock. Who's sitting next to me? Chip. Not happening. Not happening. Hey, Cal Sanderson's a really phenomenal coach at Penn State. Know him well. Done a great job. He's probably now the greatest American collegiate wrestler of all time. Cal Sanderson, absolutely. He was a legend at Penn State. I don't think he was ever beaten. So if you're going to, he's probably taking the mantle from Dan Gable. Okay. Doesn't South Florida have hey, Ultra Cowboy's getting upset because he's going on a 4-game losing streak. How you doing? Going on a 4-game losing streak. Did you hear that clown yesterday, Mark Holmes? Yeah, we're going to beat Washington. We're going to beat. I'm like, you ain't beating shit, guy. You lose 4 in a row. Get back to my topic here. Dude, Xander goes yesterday to me. He's like, hey, Sills, did you hear? We're going to go over these with Xander here too a little bit. So coming out of the bye, what are your expectations Sunday? What are your expectations Sunday after listening to those two dudes? Now that they're kumbaya and they're in harmony and they got like those Taylor Swift love bracelets that they both are wearing now. You see them, they glow in the dark too. Nick Sirianni's got one that says Jalen, and Jalen's wearing one that says Nick. Yeah, Jalen's got he's got a Taylor Swift bracelet on that says Nick. And Nick's got one that says Hurts. I mean, it's like a love thing going on now. I wonder who put that together. Let me guess. The head of Novacare or the head of NATO, Howard Roseman of Roseman and Associates. I think it's a good thing if you two guys, that was suggested. I think it's a good thing that you two get together. Hey, Barb, yeah. Then they connected with the friendship bracelets like this, So every time they walk off the field together, they're going to be able to shoot this to each other. This is a clown show, and I'm going to turn it into one. You better not lose. Nick. What did you think of the Dodgers last night? Fantastic. Beat those scumbag Padres. Absolutely. Jalen probably charge extra money to wear that dumb shit. Jalen and Nick have the Wonder Twin rings. They activated it. Yeah. Like the Legion of Boom. They're like the superheroes now. Sales hating on America's greatest uniform. Fuck Notre Dame. I don't give a shit what she did there. And if she went to Florida, same thing. Notre Dame? No, thank you. I'll kick their ass every day. By the way, my friend Chuck, I'm not talking about their school. I'm not talking about the folks there. I'm talking about their football program. That's all I know. That's all I know. I'm not talking about your school. Of course it's a great school. You kidding me? Ed DeBartolo, my friend, went there. Sills, why do you hate the Gators so much? Well, here, I'll hook you up because it's got a little bit of Notre Dame in them. The Gators think they're better than everyone in the state of Florida. They think every kid who's born in the state of Florida wants to be a Gator. They think that their shit doesn't stink, that the University of Miami is a bunch of convicts and gangsters. And when we kick their ass, steal their women, eat their food, take a dump in their place, it's one of the greatest excitements of all time. I can't tell you one of the greatest excitements of all time is kicking their ass up there and ending a 26-game win streak up there. Yeah, it was great. And then telling them all to kiss my ass is wonderful. And then having 11 sacks and putting their quarterback and giving him an appendix problem, Kerwin Bell, I put him in the hospital. Great. I put Kerwin Bell in a hospital. Great. You're welcome. It's all good. Hey, Chuck, I'm not talking about the school, dude. That's great. Your kid did that too. It's awesome. You know that, Chuck. I'm not doing anything like that. It's a great education that your daughter got. I'm only talking stupid sports here. Okay. Yeah, I heard started the press conference like him and Nick are good. Definitely planned. Right. It was planned. Hey, Nate, that was my problem with the whole thing. It looked contrived. It looked phony. Okay. Get this. Here's one thing this guy will never get because he's a stupid Cowboy fan and has no brains. Miami didn't walk off the plane and lose. They may have lost a battle, but we didn't lose the war. It's the most recognized team in American sports history. The team that walked. No one remembers the Penn State team. They remember us. That's why Sports Illustrated named us the most hated team in American sports history. You know why? We're memorable. Do you know what Penn State is? Turds. We're memorable. 37 years. Many books and TV shows. To you, the number one 30 for 30. It's because of who we were. I mean, there's no program that's ever had more 30 for 30s or more memorable than the shit we did. Can you imagine if we had social media when we were around? We would have all been locked up and put in prison. I mean, yeah, the only thing I had a problem with Penn State, you were calling us convicts. No, what was the thing they were saying? Good versus evil. And you had Jerry Sandusky on the line molesting children. Look how that worked out. Paterno has no legacy. They tried to erase every single bit of it. And Sandusky's in jail for molesting children. Who were the bad guys? Yes. And so is my aunt. Man, it says, I can't imagine how many fights you got into for shit talking. Let me show. Hey, Cosmo. You know what's really great? See, just so you know that, you go like this. How many fights you got into? Let me show you this. Okay. This is years ago. This is years ago. And this is just going to show you the kind of the kind of Jerome did the same stuff. Did the same stuff. I gotta open. I love this quote. It was in every newspaper in the country. I gotta find this, man. This is aggravating. Ugh, forget it. I'll find it. Yeah, dude, we talk shit. Revolutionaries. Still some modern day Lou Albano. Bro, I've been doing this shit since I was 18 years old. I talked shit in high school at my Catholic high school, too. What are you talking about? Been doing it since then. People have been writing stories about me negative my entire life. My entire life, they've been writing shit like this about me. What do you think? Some of the people that write newspaper articles about me today, you think that bugs me? Absolutely not. It used to bug me back in the day. Now it doesn't. Doesn't. See here. By the way, let's get to the Slay trade. So it's being reported now that Howie Roseman is shopping Darius Slay, getting ready prior to the trading deadline. I think it's a prime time to trade him. Isaiah Rodgers and Quinyon Mitchell can hold it down. You're playing center field. Slay's not giving you great play. You got to come up with someone that would be able to pick up the contract. Okay? You've got to come up with someone that would pick up that money, or at least a percentage of it. Okay? I mean, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at a text that I got from a guy. What would be the price that Howie would get back in the return? It would be a fifth or fourth rounder that he would get for him. You're not looking at high. You're not going to be looking at a high return on anything. You're looking at getting him off the books here. And you're looking at getting other players and younger players playing in the secondary now. Okay? Keith goes, not worth it. Keith, why not? Why not? What's Slay giving you now? Darius Slay's not a good player anymore. He's a fair player. And he's overpriced. By the way, if you didn't want to pay Devin White the $3.5 million, why would you pay an overpriced corner and an aged corner 11.2? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Darius Slay is not worth the money you're spending. You got to remember, this has got to, hey, here, Bryce Huff, 17-4. Completely the disaster is not, you're not getting production, but he's overpaid. Look at how many overpaid free agents you have this year, money-wise alone. And watch this. Get this. Think about this. Every single free agent that you paid for is not playing up to any ability. And on top of that, you know what else? Way overpaid. Let's look at it. Bradbury's still on your roster. He's a $9 million guy. He hasn't played a down. There's $9 million. You got Huff at 14.8. There's $24 million. Slay's making 11. That's 35. And you've got Gardner Johnson. That's $42 million on defense of contracts that have failed. That's money poorly spent. And it's all on one side of the ball. Now, you turn around and you go like this. Look at the contract extension for AJ. Is it worth it? Yeah, because the guy produces for you. The contract with Devontae is not going to kill you. Why? You're not going to get hammered for the next 3 years. The contract that you have for Barkley's lived up to it. Hey, paying Barkley $8 million, that's a steal. Barkley, remember when Barkley wanted $14 million? He was right. He wanted $14 million from the Giants, remember? Giants said no. Well, he is a $14 million back. He is. But here's another one. Hurts $50 million. How many people in here think Hurts is playing $50 million worth of football since he's signed that contract? Not counting M. Reyes. How many people in here think that guy's worth $50 million? You could make the argument Dak is the only thing keeping the Cowboys afloat. CJ isn't a safety. CJ isn't a player. M. Perez thinks that Jalen Hurts is playing $50 million football when tonight 2 quarterbacks, one making $890,000 and the other one making $25 million, have outplayed him significantly since the start of the 23 season. But those two dicks think that Hurts has outplayed him. Okay. By the way, the fact that the reason Hurts hasn't lived up to the contract is because why? You got a $200 million offense. Word salad Nick. You imagine Mike Tomlin being asked questions? Bob Lang would pull his hair out. Hey, why didn't Devin make the team? Hey, I really like the guy. You know, we had dinner. We went out and got Italian ice together. We went down to South Philly and we had a couple pieces of pizza. I kind of broke the news to him, you know. I sent his wife flowers and, you know, I was like, you ever see Moneyball when that guy goes like this? Billy Bean just goes like this to the guy. Don't tell him any of that. Ed Wade, the general manager of the Phillies, is going to be in contact with you. Our travel agent will have all the details. Philly's a great place. Good luck to you. This guy can't do that. You know, I love, you know, kumbaya. I mean, fuck. And then, hey, listening to Hurts too. I can't wait to get my boy Xander in here because, by the way, Philly 500 too. Folks, you ever hear the summit at Yalta? This was something back in the day when, like, President Roosevelt and they had Stalin and all the leaders like Churchill, they all met and had a powwow. They all talked about how they were going to carve up Germany and how they were going to fix Europe. So Nick Sirianni and I think John McMullen said it on Birds 365 today. There was like a puff of smoke when the new pope is named. And the thing came out and the summit was revealed that they had harmony and we had, you know, everything was like, you know, together. And when Xander was listening to that, man, you should have seen his face. He looked like a proud cardinal there in Rome. He just did. He was like, everything's better. I'm back to 14-3. Let's bring in the man, the myth, the legend, who is the co-host of First 365, Big Z, Xander Krause. How you doing, brother?
What's up, Big Sills? How you doing, brother? What's up, everybody in the chat? Let's get this W on Sunday, Big Sills. Wait, yeah. Sills, you're telling me you didn't buy the efficient bye week?
You told me not to listen to it. You told me not to. And I was like this. I was like, I could not listen to it.
Listen, I mean, I don't expect these dudes to go up there and start bashing on everybody, but I'm so done with the fucking word salads, dude. I'm done with the t-shirt slogans and, you know, me and Nick in harmony and efficiency. Just go out and play. Like somebody already put it in the chat. Just go play football, man. So that's where I'm watching. I think Jalen will have a good week this week, but I don't know. I was looking at that Browns defense. They got a good defense. I mean, they got some injuries right now, and they're playing like middle of the pack, but that's with the injuries. I saw a rating today. I forget where it came from, either NFL.com or I don't know if it was PFF or where it was, but Browns are rated right up at the top of the league in defense. So if they have everybody playing this week, it could be a tough test. So we'll see.
And they got a good front four, too. I mean, they do. But here's something that Nick said that I thought was significant, that you keep bringing up, that John gets upset when you bring it up. You go like this. Hey, 2023, you know, John, I'm seeing the same stuff. And so Nick yesterday comes out and says, we don't just look at the 4 games. We go back 4 years. So Xander, the organization goes back and evaluates what they've done differently or how they do business. I'm not even going back 4 years. I'm just going back to 23.
Well, Nick goes back 4 years because he has a Super Bowl appearance in there. So he likes to use it as it is.
Oh, so it smooths it over by not just saying you go back to 23. So others give him the benefit of the doubt because they won an NFC title. Okay.
Look, these are the reactions when I say Jalen's going to have a good week.
Good
Eagles
luck.
fans, we got it. Look, I know we're tough on the dude. We need him, man. We need the guy to play good because our team is not going anywhere if he doesn't step up. So, shit, from my lips to God's ears, Jalen Hurts is going to have a big week at the link, Big Sills. Wait,
How
Sills, let me
come?
just say this, though. I mean, you are getting A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Lane Johnson back. Even if
So
Jalen doesn't improve this week, the team is going to improve. The offense is going to improve. The one thing I think he said that kind of stood out to me, and I didn't see anybody pick up on it, is he almost tipped his hand that he blindly just kind of throws the ball up to
yeah,
the good
no,
receivers. Yeah.
no.
I
He
mean, it's
says this.
almost like I struggle without him because I don't trust him, and two, maybe I can't read the defense. If I see AJ Brown in single coverage, I'm throwing the ball.
He
So I
said
kind of
that.
think he tipped his
I
hand a
was
little bit.
floored, and
Yeah.
that's why I said. By the way, all super chats will be read at the end of this. Thank you, Brian. Hey, I said I'm like this. So wait a minute. He admits in the first 4 weeks because someone asked a question about, hey, has it been Kellen Moore's new offense? Has it been the personnel? He goes, well, when you have your normal guys in there and you see your normal faces, it's easier to have trust with those guys than say when you don't have, and it's a new offense. So I'm like this. Well, if all of his toys aren't in the offensive huddle and all the things aren't going right, Hurts doesn't execute the offense to a perfection no matter who's in there, and he doesn't do his best ability to try to do the things that he does with those other guys. That's what it's called. It's not next guy up in Philly, dude. It's when the next guy gets back. It's not anything to do with next guy. That's not a true comment. When he says the next guy up, Hurts doesn't believe in the next guy
he tempered
up.
it. He tempered it. You could hear him. He's like, "Oh, no, I don't say that to knock anybody here. We trust everybody on the field." But it's clear he's looking to get his guys back out there. I can't blame him entirely for that. I mean, who wouldn't want those
Why would
receivers
you
out there?
acknowledge that?
Yeah, I mean, as a leader, I guess you could argue that. But look, you think
Aren't you trying to develop? But this talks about getting everyone else better around you. That doesn't make everyone better around you.
Sills, we know why Howie built this team the way he built it.
Yeah,
Jalen needs a lot around him. That's the reality. So I'm looking to win. If he needs a lot of people around him and we got people around him, we got a better chance to win. I mean, you're right. It's going to mask problems. Talk to me in January. Somebody was shitting on me in the morning show, and they're like, "Oh, when the Eagles bounce back, Xander's going to be eating his words." They're going to bounce back. They're going to bounce back to some extent.
Yes.
What will they do in January? That's my question. What will they do when the playoffs come? That's what matters. And we'll see what they're able to do. By the way, you were talking about Darius Slay. We got to get into that. He just responded to the whole CJ Gardner-Johnson thing. That dude is delusional, man.
Tell me what he said. I want to know.
So did you see yesterday what CJ Gardner-Johnson answered to it?
Yeah, he said he's a good teammate and he's, he tried to do. By the way, here's my take on that one. If Gardner-Johnson was with the Lions and he had done that when he was on a different team, how do you think Gardner-Johnson would have reacted? Gardner-Johnson would have slammed him.
I'm not a big Gardner. I'm not
either, but we know his mentality. Okay?
Anthony. My guy, Anthony. What type of comment is that, Anthony?
It's been Sileo-ized.
He hasn't. He wants to win one game.
Yeah, well, that's the Anthony mentality. Okay, that's the M. Reyes mentality.
Anthony, we need to win more than that, brother. This is the most expensive offense we've ever had in the city. Wait, let's get to Slay. You saw CJ Gardner-Johnson, right? He's like looking at the camera. You could tell. I'm not the biggest CJ Gardner-Johnson guy, but I give him the right to be pissed off at Slay for that. So Slay said today, let me pull up the quote. I don't want to get it wrong. It ain't good. Oh, the Eagles posted a lovely T-shirt slogan from Nick Sirianni again today. Slay says these guys didn't vote me for captain for no reason. I root for everybody in this building. I try to help everyone be great at what they do. And then he went on to say, basically it's the fans that create the narratives. And CJ Gardner-Johnson didn't care, and he'll probably go back on Parsons' podcast. I'm like, dude, this dude. He is the epitome of the soft culture that we've been talking about for the last couple of years.
Tell me where this accountability, so to speak, is, where Nick Sirianni was in his press conference talking about guys having the love of the game and that they have the fire in their belly and they only think about playing football. When you got a fucking guy sitting there going back and forth talking about the dumbest shit on the planet and something you created. The Philly fans in the media didn't create that shit. Darius Slay did. He created
Yeah, no, he
noise
did.
that wasn't needed.
Still no accountability. And Gooby, you missed a good one, brother. I was going off on the defense yesterday, but no, yeah. Look, it's Darius Slay is a he's not my favorite Eagle. I'll leave it at that. I'm not a big fan of Darius Slay. I'd be good with the rumors of him being traded. Get him out of
Deadline.
here.
I want him out of here.
Quinyon Mitchell, move him up.
Yep.
Show me what Keely Ringo can do. Show me what Isaiah Rodgers can do. Get Cooper DeJean on the field. It's time for the new era of the Eagles defense. Now, we might want to be careful what we wish for there because the new era of the defensive line is not quite looking so good, everybody. So
yeah, but if I'm going to lose, like you said a couple months ago, I'm going to lose with the young guys, and I'm going to go out there and find out what I have.
That's fair.
And if I'm going to lose, I'm not going to lose with Slay. Slay has no future here with me. And by the way, Slay barely has any time left. I would not be stunned if Avonte Maddox ends up getting cut or guys like that, and they just start blowing the old dogs out of here. Hey, would it shock me once Bradbury gets healthy, they moved him or cut him? No. I mean, dude, it's time to play the young dudes. Play them all. Play Keely Ringo, like you said. Get Cooper DeJean. They're rushing Cooper DeJean. By the way, they're also rushing Sidney Brown back as fast as they. When that
he got injured in what, January? Yeah, early January. So,
but when that guy they feel is ready to go, I would not be surprised if Avonte Maddox is the next guy cut. I mean it. Because
did you hear what Nick had to say about that dude that week? I had to turn the press conference off when he started talking about Avonte Maddox.
We really love the guy. He's really like a really great player. You know,
Yeah.
we really think. How about the linebacking bullshit when he went like this about why couldn't he answer? Like Mike Tomlin, like I told you, Xander. Hey, Mike, why didn't Devin White make the team? We have a high standard here playing linebacker. Seth Joyner, Hugh Douglas, Chuck Bednarik. We have a standard here in Philly that we play linebacker, and unfortunately, Devin didn't live up to that standard. Hey, we wish the guy well. I hope things work out and he lands in a spot. But at the end of the day, we have a certain standard that's set here. Instead, I really like the guy. I thought he was having Italian ice with him in South Philly. I mean, holy shit, this guy, why can't you answer a question? He didn't live up to the expectations. Because you know why, Xander? 2 weeks earlier, he said, we're going to need him somewhere in the season. That lets you know that decision was made upstairs without him and his knowledge on what they were going to do with Devin White. Because 1 week or 2 weeks ago, he tells you we're going to need him. 2 weeks later, they cut him, and he has to explain why in a way, and he doesn't explain why. It's because the organization above him makes all roster decisions. I'm even under the impression now that they make roster and game day. I didn't believe that when I first started covering your team, Xander. I didn't believe Howie had control. When Howard Eskin was allowed to come on the program until WIP stopped doing that shit and started barring him, he said it on here. Hey, one of the reasons Doug didn't like what was going on is because the Sunday game day rosters were conducted by the front office and the analytics department and Howie Roseman. They were trying to control who was going to be active and who not active. That played out with Nate Sudfeld and how they benched Hurts and everybody in that nightmare last game for Doug Peterson. Dude, I have never seen a front office control a roster on game day, game plan, analytics, decision-making. They do so many things great. They do. They're a winning team, but they're not a championship franchise.
Yeah, that's all I think I'm almost convinced that's all they care about. They just want to be relevant, and they don't care about when it's like the Jerry way where they don't really care about getting over the top. They just want to make all the news and be in all the headlines and always get close to the end of the season, with something. That's why everybody tells me, it's Jeffrey Lurie's the most successful owner in franchise history. I'm like, I mean, if we're being real, everybody, I'm not going to say we lucked into a Super Bowl, but like the team didn't build a roster like that won a Super. I mean, they did, but you win with a backup quarterback versus Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. That's more of an act of magic than it is.
But wait a minute. Let me ask you about that. That's a great point now you're bringing up. Okay, so Howie, let's give him the benefit here that Howie knows how to build and put pieces on a football team. Doesn't it take the coaches to put those right chess pieces in the right position to win? And it was the coaching that ended up, like you said, with all the missing pieces that were on that 17 team. That was the roster and the coaches putting them in the right place. Because look at this, Xander. We would agree the 2022, 23, and 24 rosters, do you think are better than that 17 roster? Hey. You think they're better
one?
than the
21,
17?
22, 23? Better talent, worse team.
Okay. And worse coaching.
Well, definitely worse coaching. But you asked me about the
Yeah.
roster. There's probably better players in that 22 team. But it's one thing. It's like the Phillies. They got a collection of great players. You got to play like a
Foles
team.
is better than Hurts.
I think 2017 Carson is way better than Hurts. Way
Okay.
better. I'm not going to go Nick Foles.
How about this? Let's do this. From 2016 to 2019, in that 3-year run, versus Hurts' 2022, 23, and we'll soon to see 24. Who do you think had a better run, Wentz or Hurts?
Better run that team because they got a Super Bowl. But
who had a better quarterback?
That's why I say those, Sills.
Quarterback, Wentz or Hurts?
Well, Wentz was a better quarterback. If Wentz had these weapons, we probably would still be talking about Carson Wentz being our quarterback today. I mean, he was throwing to Jalen Reagor and Travis Fulgham on the way out. I mean, we can't forget that. I mean, I get it. He regressed. I'm not saying he didn't regress, but the dude was throwing a trash can.
He regressed because the team regressed around him.
Yeah, I watched 2017 recap of his season that year. He was tremendous. That was the greatest quarterback play in the history of Philadelphia. And I'm not a huge McNabb guy, but Jalen Hurts is not even anywhere near McNabb's level. I don't think so.
No.
I don't know. Maybe you guys can tell me if you think I'm wrong.
He's not.
I think McNabb was a far better quarterback.
Far better.
I'm not a huge McNabb guy. I mean, I liked him. He was early on in my Eagle fandom days, but
you think he's better than Vic?
What's that?
You think he's better than Vic?
Who? Hurts?
Yeah.
Talent-wise? No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Vic was before his time. Imagine prime Vic in the league right now.
You imagine if Vic played with this talent.
Prime Vic in the league right now would be better than Lamar Jackson. I truly believe that.
With Andy Reid.
Right.
With Andy Reid. Yeah.
McNabb was an asshole, Anthony. You're right about that. But McNabb had a cannon. McNabb had a cannon.
Dude.
He could throw a football when he was in his prime. He could hurl that ball down the field, dude. He had a cannon of an arm. And when he was early in his career, he was decently mobile.
Isn't it funny what we're saying about Jalen Hurts right now, that we're looking at him and going like this with all that talent? It's not so much, Xander, that you're going to look back on this in 10 years and go, we wasted an era. You're going to look back on this and go, we had the right team. We had the wrong guy.
Well,
because with a different quarterback, dude, with Geno, what do you think Geno would do with this team?
I'm not going to say Geno would lead us to a Super Bowl.
I'll tell you what, he's doing a pretty good job with DK Metcalf and that other kid across the way.
Yeah. Maybe give me like Jared Goff. I think he'd take us to a Super Bowl. I mean, he nearly led the Lions there. I think we're a better team than the Lions. We're close.
Oh, my God.
The Lions team is better.
Hey.
On defense. Lions team is better on defense.
How do you think he plays on Sunday?
Who, Jalen?
Yeah.
I think he bounces back. But I don't want to – I mean, you can't drink the Kool-Aid too much, right? He needs to string together a slew of good games, turnover-free football, getting through his reads, and getting back into the rhythm of a winning football team. Right now, we are 3-8. In a way, Sills, for all Hurts' faults, the culture around Jalen Hurts, and you can be Hurts' biggest hater, but you should be able to admit this. When he was winning, and when he took over in 21, but 22 through really the 10-1, all that team knew was winning. That's all they knew. They were 25-4. And they were 27-5 if you include the playoffs. Like, that better than anybody, right? You played at Miami. One loss, you're like, what the hell is going on?
I know.
The culture of this team right now is very used to losing. So we have to flip that narrative.
But how can it be such a winning environment, and then all of a sudden you're starting to see massive failures right now around the team? And Xander, people are going, Sills, we're under the impression, I'm not, that the team is going to play better on Sunday because those players are coming back. Huss, in those last 12, 11 games, you've had those players. Why are you under the assumption it's going to turn around with him and his play? You said it, Xander. This team's going to go as far as the quarterback plays. This is not going to go whether or not dude, AJ, I agree with you. AJ and Devontae are going to bring something to the table. They really are.
There's
no doubt.
No doubt. They're going to cover for Hurts.
What are they going to bring winning?
Well, they got it. Like I said, that's a cultural thing. And that's where, I don't want to drink the Kool-Aid on the press conference, but I will say it almost seemed like Hurts was maybe a little bit more upbeat. Did you hear John when he said about it?
No.
Jeffrey Lurie, he thinks Jeffrey Lurie brought Jalen Hurts to the principal's office and said, hey, man, you got to be a grown man. Whether this thing's going to work or not.
I thought, but to John.
I don't know. I don't know if Howie would step in.
Somebody called that summit.
Dude, Howie's not going to tell a player like Jalen Hurts what to do.
So wait a minute. John believes the owner called this powwow and had these two guys in the bye week sit down and break pizza and try to iron. That's why he said, what was it? I'm glad to see that we could come to
in harmony.
Holy shit.
Get a shirt made. Harmony. The fuck did that mean?
Wait,
the other one that I didn't like, or I didn't really, not that I didn't like it, but I'm like, what the hell does that mean? Was the efficient bye week, probably the most efficient bye week of my career. I'm like, what does that mean? What does that mean, Jalen? Does that mean he's going to come out and play well? Did they fix the problems? Did they at least identify him? I think that's the biggest problem with the losing culture right now. Nope. Still, has anybody from the head coach to the quarterback to the GM to the owner addressed why the 10-1 team collapsed last year? Do they even know why? Do they even have any idea why? So no. if you don't identify a problem, you cannot fix it. That's like a simple rule of life.
Because they don't see them as the problem. They see others as the problem.
Forget if they don't see themselves. Then identify what the problem is on the football field.
They're going to blame and have excuses using everybody as scapegoats. That's why you have a ton of scapegoats. Xander, you have a ton of scapegoats. Why? Well, you have a ton of scapegoats.
The owner loves, for all his faults.
What does Angelo say all the time? The owner's never going to admit that he's wrong.
No. He's yacht shopping on our dime.
Hey, wait. So wait a minute. Let me get this right. John, you want to know a guy who's been Sileo-ized? It's John McMullen. He's been Sileo-ized because John, I never thought of it. John thinks that the owner and the buy came to Jalen Hurts, went to Nick and said, you two guys need to have a little powwow and have a conversation and spend some time together here because we're only going to go as far as you two guys. He's not wrong. He, in a way, Xander, he's actually not wrong. Hey, by the way, let me say this to you. Do I think Bob Kraft ever got in there where he said to Tom Brady and Belichick, you guys have to keep your egos at least on a balance scale here, and you two guys have to work this out and work together? Do I think that could have went on? Yeah, I do. I think that's the magic of Kraft, but Kraft wasn't involved in player decision and all that other shit. He came in with Spygate, Deflategate, Garoppolo, all of that shit. He wasn't always in it, and not like to the point where Jeffrey Lurie. So I'll tell you what, do I think this could have happened that way? Like John said? Yeah. I'm surprised no one asked. Oh my God, wait a minute. It was asked. Somebody asked the question to Nick. Nick, how important is having the relationship between the owner, the quarterback, and the coach? All of that, he goes, communication. Remember what he said in the presser? Xander, John's right. That's where John got that from. Because who would bring up, what the fuck does the owner have to do with a 2-2 start? Nothing. Right. Unless the owner called that powwow. Was John given a heads up that happened?
I wouldn't be mad at the owner calling a powwow.
I wouldn't either. I'm not saying, no. I'm not saying it's wrong.
Gooby. No, you're right. You're right. John has been Sileo-ized a little bit. After week 3 or week 2 or whatever, whenever everybody else was calling for Nick's job, John's like, you guys are crazy. Nick ain't going anywhere right now, And now he's like asking guests, he's like, if they lose to the Browns, is Nick gone? I'm like, what? That's my question, John. What? So John's definitely moving on the scale right now where he's, wondering if there's bigger problems. But,
You lose by 10, he's fired Monday.
Ooh. I think this game is a little bit of a trap game. I'm not going to lie to you. I've been starting to think about this game. This Browns defense. I mean, they're the only defense. Well, not the only one, but they slowed what's his name down a lot.
Dude,
Jaden Daniels. They were
doesn't have to play sensational. The defense for the Browns does. Stop that offense. They can win a game 18-15. Look horrible. He could look horrible and win. Why? You know what? Because get this, that defense of yours is a cancer. You're not going to get better. What the horrible part of this conversation is the offense is going to get better, adding great players. What great player are you adding? James Bradbury?
A.J. Brown, Lane Johnson, Devontae Smith?
No. I'm talking defensively.
Yeah,
who are you adding? Who are you adding with that level of play, Lane Johnson, A.J. Brown?
The greatness of Ben Van Sumeren.
And then here's Nick. I really like my linebacker court and my linebacker room. I mean, and I'm like, when he said, we watch him in practice, and I was like, well, hang on here. You're telling me that you evaluate your linebacking room based off of a practice where Jalen Hurts had the greatest camp in the history of his camp.
Yeah, and I wish I pushed back on John more on that. But that Devin White ship has now sailed.
But wait a minute. When Nick says that they get their evaluation out of practice, remember, Xander, we were told that this is the greatest camp that Jalen Hurts has ever had. Has his play reflected that?
No, he hasn't been good. Now, remember, though, if you told me before the season, like I said, to add the context, if you told me you'd be 2-2 and you missed A.J. Brown for 3 games, you missed Devontae Smith for 1 and Lane for 1, I'd be like, all right.
I'm talking about his play. I'm not talking about the record.
Remember, here's the other context.
You can lose a game, look good. Look at Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's second in touchdowns, and he's got 15 TDs and 2 picks. They're 1-4. No one's going to look at Cincinnati and go, well, that's a Joe Burrow thing. Okay? I mean, that's a Joe Burrow they're 32nd in running. They have no running game. They have no defense. And I look at Joe Burrow and go, many people in the league think he's the third or second best quarterback playing right now in the game. And you're like,
but doesn't that highlight how even if Jalen plays elite, this team is not going to be good if our defense isn't better?
Correct. It doesn't matter if he goes to plays 22. You can't win a title with that defense. It is utterly impossible.
Yeah, well, we had John Stolness on this morning, and I asked him about whether it's Howie's fault, and he's like, I wonder if it's player development fault. I mean, did they draft the wrong guys?
Okay, wait a minute. Who hired these coaches to develop these players?
You can't. There's nothing you can say to dispute that.
You can't escape the arm of Roseman here. Well, okay, look. Well, what about player development? Okay, who are the coaches that are supposed to be player development? Who hires them? The front office does. I mean, okay. So Howie gets the personnel and hires the coaches. The players on defense are all not being developed. And the coaches you have on that side of the ball, then you hire a guy with a scheme that doesn't fit the talent. Look at how cookie cutter this is. Vic Fangio, talent doesn't fit his scheme. Howie Roseman, the talent doesn't fit Vic Fangio's scheme. You just think you can plug and play. There's a reason that Kansas City, you look at them and go, how are they doing this? Well, Steve Spagnuolo picks the players that he wants to get in there.
And they got a damn good
looks at him and trusts him to go get this. Spagnuolo picks the players along with Brett Veach in Kansas City. Remember how Nick says this all the time? Hey, Howie Roseman's guys do such a really great job at talent evaluation. They go through all this, and the final call is his say on the players and what guys they're going to draft. That doesn't go on in championship places, dog. The coaches make Hey, when Jimmy Johnson was building the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones wasn't picking the talent. He wasn't picking the talent. Jimmy was. Jimmy was picking the coaches. You think there's anything to that?
I mean, yeah, yeah. It's the front office. I mean, what do you want to do though? Well, like, what's my answer to that?
No, your answer is this. So when people go like this and tell you this, yeah, they're going to play great on Sunday. Well, the offense may put up 28 points, 29 points. How's the defense going to play? And you say this, I don't know. Well, shit, if you have an unknown that you can't even say they're going to play decent. I mean, Xander, you can have 400 yards of total offense and give up and have 3 turnovers. Here's what I think happens. Ready? I think Jalen has a lot of yards. I think he has 3 turnovers and keeps the Browns in it.
I think we run the ball a lot.
Okay. Against that team, you're going to play right into the Browns, keeping it a fourth. The Browns want
that. Browns allow the 3rd most rushing touchdowns, the running backs right now. So maybe it's more of a red zone move. And the Browns allow the 6th most rushing attempts and 7th rushing yards to a quarterback. So maybe, Jalen tries to exploit that a little bit. That defense is prone to, containing a quarterback like Jalen. So maybe he slips out of the pocket. I don't know. I mean, this game, the Eagles must win, because if they don't win this game, the sky is going to fall in the city. It really is. And I wonder if the sky will be falling in the locker room.
Look at Senor Xander. Eagles didn't run the ball in week 4 against the Bucs.
It's true.
And get this, they needed to.
Yeah,
you didn't have. So wait a minute, Xander, on Sunday, you think they're going to run the ball having Devontae and AJ back?
No, they're going to throw it a lot. I'm just saying. I wonder if. I mean,
well,
I don't know.
Play right into Jim Schwartz's hands. You play right into his hands, dude. You're right. Look at you and me are right. Watch this: 175 yards passing, 90 yards rushing, 25 attempts.
If we win 18 to
15, you
15,
win the game like
win.
What?
If we win 18 to 15, how are we feeling about that?
Against the Browns? You need a win.
Yeah, I said that this morning. Everybody's talking about the damn point spread.
4 weeks from now, you're not going to care about that. You're not going to care how you beat Atlanta, or excuse me, how you beat New Orleans. You're not going to care.
Yeah, well, everybody talks about that like it was a good win. We had 0 points going into the 4th quarter. Like that wasn't like a good win. I don't know. I forget. I know Saquon Barkley blew the game open with.
Was it that 18-15? Wasn't that the 18-15?
Yeah, it was something like that. I mean, I just know we had a 0 on the board going into the 4th quarter. I remember tweeting, "What is this disaster?"
This is a great take by Yale here. This is a super take. Where is that? Where's Yale here? Here it is. Xander, what's the game plan Sunday?
Throw it up to AJ and Devontae, I guess.
Get 3 and outs, high opportunity of turnovers. For a secondary that's 6th in pass defense. Okay. You're playing into it. Like you
picking
did
the
with
Browns
the
on Sunday.
What?
You picking the Browns on Sunday?
Well, I haven't said that yet. I said this right now, that as a betting thing with the 9 points, I'm taking the 9 points in the Browns.
Well, 9 points is absurd. I don't know what Vegas is thinking with that. 9 points.
9 points. Take the points.
Pick Deshaun Watson. Yeah. He's like the worst quarterback in the league.
Who wins outright? I'll do that tomorrow.
All right. I'll do that tomorrow with you.
Okay. I'll do that tomorrow. But, hey, what's the game plan Sunday? I'm just curious. What do you think they're going to do?
You got AJ and Devontae coming back. I think it's self-explanatory. They're going to throw it to them.
How many times?
I said run the ball, but you're right. The defensive line is good there. I'm just thinking work Saquon in here. He's been a top 2-3 running back in the league so far, and they keep just banking on him for splash plays. I think they got to commit to the run a little bit more. I think it'll make Jalen Hurts' life easier, but they don't do that. So that's pie in the sky thinking.
37 attempts, you think? Then we'll do the super chats.
Oh, 37 attempts. It depends. Do we have a lead or are we playing from behind? Wait, this is where I push back on you with the Kellen Moore thing as head coach. I mean, this is what John tells me. He's like, they're the only team in the league that hasn't scored a point in the first quarter. Not even a field goal. He's the one who scripted up that first series of plays, those first 15 plays.
What's on the playlist? Okay, Bill Walsh had 25 plays scripted out for the first. Every time anybody my age knows when you played against Montana, They scored on the first series every freaking time. They scored on the first series. He had the first 25 plays scripted out. What's on the play sheet for Kellen Moore and Jalen on the first 25 plays? How could you not score 8 points? You not even a field goal.
No. Well, they don't take field goals.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
They've probably been in position for a couple field goals.
You think?
But they don't take them. They just let them go.
If they throw the ball 37 times, they are going to make this a fourth quarter game and give the Browns a chance to win it in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, but A.J. Brown, I mean, look, this offense does work when A.J. Brown's out there.
Does it?
It does, yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't work efficiently.
Didn't work a year ago.
Well, they were rated pretty highly, if you want to just go off ranking.
Oh, okay. If we're going to play fantasy football here, yeah, I know it did. But if we're going to play on wins, it didn't.
Oh, all I want to do is feel some level of optimism. If they lose this game up,
hey,
I'm going to be
more. Your optimism is getting those players back.
Chuck, thanks for becoming a member, my guy. Big thanks to you. Appreciate that.
Let's get to the super chats here, man. Yeah, what's happening? I got to tell you guys something. Xander's a little under the weather because I'm going to tell you why. He can't stomach what's going on any longer with the press conferences and with the word salad pressers. What's happened is Nick has actually given him word salad fungus.
Wait, you want to hear what the Eagles posted today? This is right from. You wonder why fans are delusional. This is what the Eagles posted today. Not every fan, by the way. I don't say that as a blanket. I think there's a portion of people that come in here and they hate Sileo. This is what the Eagles Twitter post today. The Philadelphia Eagles. DC Trucker says, man, fuck this show. Then DC Trucker, fuck you. Get out of here. You got to be so effing hungry for this shit. That's the only way it's going to take another step. Are you humble enough to say, hey, this is what I need to get better at? Are you hungry for it? Are you starving for this shit?
What? Wait a minute. What?
He's a cheerleader, man.
Where are you? For this. You got to be so hungry for this. That's the only way it's going to take another step. And are you humble enough to say, hey, this is what I need to get better at? Are you hungry for it? Are you starving for this? Do you want it so bad that you can't sleep? So we got to make sure that we are honest with ourselves and we practice. You know we're going to make some strides.
The Philadelphia Eagles, their main account.
Oh my God! I got another new Rockney speech. Oh my God! These guys are making $35 million a year, and you got Harry High School up there. Fucking, that is so embarrassing. Holy cow! You're trying to make that. You know what you're trying to do? You're trying to get that guy elected. Hey, you're doing everything in your power to get Harry High School elected.
So the Eagles are going to beat the Browns this week.
Dude, really?
Are they not going to beat the Browns? By the way, what'd you make of the Phillies?
You got to love it. You got to have the heart and the hunger for it. Dude, you're talking to professionals like that?
Grown-ass men.
You think Andy Reid's talking like that?
Wait, by the way, I mean, Jalen isn't much better. He speaks in T-shirt slogans all day. I mean, that's all the guy does. Every time he gets on the podium, it's a new T-shirt slogan. Even on the Super Bowl,
Nick Saban does his coaching.
What's that?
You know where Nick Saban does his coaching? Not at the podium. He does his coaching on the field. Run the fucking play again.
Yeah, well.
That's coaching. Not doing this. Harry High School here behind the mic. You got to want it. Dude, that guy doesn't. You don't ever hear Saban or Belichick talking like. How many times you see those clips of Belichick going, Tony, how many times have I told you that that's not, run it again. Belichick did his coaching.
Clary Voy. Yeah, no, you're right. Belt, by the way, but we don't have that, Sills. You think Nick Sirianni can be compared to Bill? That's like comparing Jalen Hurts to Tom Brady. It just doesn't work.
What you're doing is you're masking insecurity. Those are insecurity videos.
Clary Voy must have missed the Jalen Hurts presser yesterday, where he was filled with slogans of harmony and efficiency and all sorts of bullshit.
Hey, man, if after my show every day, I have to get drunk because I can't believe some of the shit that people think this guy. I mean, dude,
So's giving
he's
me a headache,
embarrassing.
everybody.
Hey, surely you're embarrassed.
Well, dude, I want this team to succeed. I think we're going to look back on this team in a couple of years. If they don't work, if they don't make it happen, man, this is going to be a big letdown to our city. So for everybody,
I want you in here every day. You got to want it to be in here every day. Show me some of your intangibles, Stu. Heart, guts, love for the game.
I'm done with the t-shirt slogans. Let's get to a couple supers. Give Tony a Jahan.
Hey, wait a minute. Did John see that yet?
What?
Did he see that video yet?
Probably. John doesn't like that. John won't criticize that.
I hope he goose on it.
So that's the team we got.
No, that's the leader. No, that's the leader you got. It's not the team.
Well, that's what Jalen said. We're the two leaders of the team.
Dude, you're burying this thing more every time you open your face, right here with this. When you go like this.
Shut up.
Dude, the two leaders of the team. That's one of the leaders of your team. Look at M. Reyes. He's right there at the podium with Nick. 14-3. Show me your guts.
My rate of balding is increasing rapidly.
Get to these super chats. I'm going to throw up.
Jahan Dotson. Give Tony a Jahan Dotson.
Jahan Dotson.
Abe says, Browns are going to play man coverage on AJ and Smitty as well as blitz plays. Why not run the ball? They have over 50 missed tackles.
No, because Xander says they're going to throw the ball 37 times.
I didn't say that. I said I would like them to come out and run.
Because they're back.
Well, I said I'd like them to run, didn't I? You told me no way.
No. What you
shit on me. Right. I didn't even finish the sentence, and you shit on me.
Right, and what they'll do are two different things.
I didn't even finish the sentence, and he shat on me. Goes Spa City. Spa City says, listen, Lurie has had it with Howie he ain't firing Howie. Lurie has had it with Howie in my opinion. Vic went and had a serious talk with Lurie about Howie having too much input with the team. White was a Howie. I don't know about that, Spa.
No way.
Jeffrey Lurie and Howie rolled together.
You bet. That's a money thing why he didn't play.
How many sacks Lawrence Taylor have in this scheme? That's a question for you.
In this scheme? 20. Because he's a one-man wrecking crew. You can't stop him. You're not putting.
It doesn't matter what scheme Lawrence Taylor.
That's probably the better answer. You could put him in a two-front, and he's going to get home. Same with Reggie. You could put him in a two-front.
I'm a couple years out from being Big Bill. My hair's gone. Don't worry.
Big who? Oh, yeah, that guy.
Yeah, I don't know. Some nobody.
I take 2023 Josh Dobbs.
Gooby. I'm not taking that.
Now. Holy shit, man. Take Teddy Bridgewater.
I'm not believing in counterfeit Hurts. Prediction, he throws 2 picks to Rodney McLeod. Ooh, former Eagle. I met Rodney. Good guy. Got the bag and stopped giving an F.
Counterfeit Hurts.
That's a new nickname, isn't it?
That's a shirt. Counterfeit Hurts.
Boy, if I launch some of these shirts, we think the bullseye's on us now. Good Lord. Let people start wearing those shirts that'll link bench Hurts.
No, what you should have is just Roseman and Associates. That'll do it.
I want the Hurricane Howie one. That's the one I want.
Hurricane Howie, Cat 5.
The only difference between Hurricane Howie and Hurricane Milton is Howie can't touch Tampa Bay.
That's right. Right. Absolutely. Okay.
Xander, can you get Leo
by the way,
on the show?
Howie can't swim. Guys that short can't swim.
True. I can swim. What am I, 5? I'm like 5'10". I can swim.
Well, you ain't short, Junior.
5'10", not very tall. Raytwan Mitchell. Can you get Lito on the show? I don't know Lito at all.
I don't know Lito either.
Yeah.
But I am going to get Eric Allen. I sent him a text.
Yeah, Eric Allen was on a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm going to get his ass on. I'm going to give it a little time, and then Big Sills will get his teeth in him.
Yeah.
I have no trust in the Eagles right now. The defense is going to get torched on Sunday.
I was hoping the fan base helped me out a little bit today, and they have not at all.
Hey, seriously, Xander's under the weather because right now what's happened is the Eagles have made him physically sick.
Brian, that was all time. Brian dropped me a super chat this morning about Meat Watchers. It was all time. It was hilarious. Brian, I almost didn't even go to you. I almost said, thanks for the 20. Goodbye. But I went to you. Johnny Mac's answer was hilarious. That's all.
Dude. Hold on here. By the way, they posted that thing for public. So it's not any kind of violation here whatsoever. So, and we're not posting anything here. But before you go, Xander, I want to get motivated here.
Big moves. Every time we line up 10 yards off coverage and third and short, my locks get thinner. Big, you've been on fire today.
That's the only way it's going to take another step.
I like the music.
Wait, last time we played a clip from the Eagles, they dropped a copyright on my channel, so I try to avoid those fuckers. That's all right. If we mix in some of our commentary. Jarrell, I love Sills. I don't give a fuck what he says. I believe this team will turn it around, Xander. Keep your head up. Jarrell, I gotta be honest, man. It's dwindling quick. It's like an hourglass. You know, the thing's been turned over. It's almost empty.
Hey, Jarrell, remember when they came to Jarrell and they said that Planet Krypton was getting ready to blow up and you better get your ass out of here? And he didn't go. The old lady stayed behind and they put little Superman in that thing and they sent his ass to like some other place. If I were you, Jarrell, I'd get in that little pod and get my ass out of town there because come Sunday, Browns are coming. You better get off that planet, son, because Krypton's exploding. Come on, Jarrell.
Look at Como. He says, Xander, how the hell are we supposed to help you when the Eagles suck ass, bro?
Holy cow.
We are not as delusional as you. King, I try and keep it real, man. I do. I really do. I feel like they're going to win this week.
Hey, King, you must think he's playing good.
I mean, listen, I don't think this team is the worst team in the league for crying out loud.
Absolutely not.
But I mean, well, shit, they're going to win a couple ball games. Wait a minute.
You were talking Super Bowl at the beginning of the year.
I know.
We're not talking about getting a 500 here, are we? Hey, wait a minute, Xander. Xander, if you want to lower your expectations here and go like this, hey, let's talk about being 500. That's a different temperature of how you cover a team then. All right, watch this. Hey, if you're looking to be 9-8, all right. Hey, they're right on pace. But I thought you were looking for more.
10-7.
10-7 and what?
Bounced.
Well, then okay.
I don't see it right now. That's all. Talk to me on November 10th.
There should be more
sacks in this era of football. Go ahead.
Absolutely. There should be more sacks in this era of football because they throw the ball around the yard more.
Speaks to Puff's level. Hufflepuff.
Yeah.
Hufflepuff is brutal.
Here we
go. Lucius, thank you, brother.
Yeah, Lucius, thank you. We missed the super chat too here,
I'll get it. Don't worry. Xander, time for me to go outrageous. Hurts stats for the game: 537 yards passing, 6 passing touchdowns, 0 picks, 54 yards rushing, and 1 push-tush touchdown. That's a lot of touchdowns, Lucius.
Here's my stats. Okay, hold on. 6, 4, 23. 14 of 39, 205, 1 touchdown, 3 picks, 6 carries, 23 yards. Okay?
What was that?
Here's my stats for Hurts Sunday. 14 of 39, 205 passing, 1 touchdown, 3 picks, 6 carries, 23 yards.
I'll take that bet right now. He doesn't throw
against Jim Schwartz's defense. Okay,
3 picks?
Yeah.
He's not throwing 3 picks. Has he ever thrown 3 picks in his career, for crying out loud?
No, but has he ever had 3 turnovers in a game?
Actually has. He threw 3 picks to the Giants, remember? Late in the season. I think that was 20.
Year.
Was that last year?
Yeah.
What year was that, everybody?
That was last year when they lost to the pizza dude. He had 3 picks with AJ and Devontae on the field. Sills, that's outrageous. I think 27 turnovers in 22 games is outrageous. That's outrageous too.
Tony, I came off that long ago, my brother. I'm struggling to get the double digits here.
Hey, you better get yourself some chunky Hurts soup to make yourself feel a little better for this game. The chunky Hurts soup.
Is Jalen Hurts in Donovan McNabb's league?
No. McNabb's by far a better quarterback. And I don't like that guy at all. And he is – McNabb knocks on the Hall of Fame door.
If he won, he would be.
Yeah. He knocks on the Hall of Hey, like, do I think Drew Bledsoe's better than McNabb? No. Do I think Tony Romo's better? Absolutely not. Do I think Joe Flacco is better? He's got a Super Bowl. No. Do I think Eli Manning is better than McNabb?
Yes.
You think a guy with a 500 record is better than McNabb?
He's not better talent-wise, but talent's not everything. Who's better, Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady?
I get it. I get it.
Eli Manning has 2 rings. Look, I get it. The hate on
Who
Eli
would you
Manning.
take? Donovan McNabb or Phillip Rivers?
Donovan.
I take Donovan too.
Yeah.
Donovan won more. Get this.
Donovan doesn't like that.
Donovan had less.
Eli got 2 rings, yo. We don't have
Donovan
2 rings in franchise
talent.
history.
Dude, hey, dude, I'm with you. I hate Eli.
Dude, he's got 2 rings, though.
He's got the most punchable face I've ever seen.
Eli has 2 rings. We don't have 2 rings in franchise history. I mean, come on.
I think he's a better player, though.
1 time you can call it luck. 2 times it ain't luck.
Let's see. Barb says that Bledsoe won 2 AFC titles. He did. By the way, he came back in. He won 1 for he won 2 for the Patriots, actually. She's right. Good knowledge there, Barb.
Yeah, but Donovan was also throwing to Todd Pinkston and James Thrash. Imagine Donovan with this roster.
Throw for 6,000 yards.
He really would.
He really would.
Donovan had a huge arm. He had some worm burners toward the end where he just threw it into the fucking dirt, drove me crazy. But he still had a big arm. Amber, watch the clip. I think I saw it recently on social media somewhere where Donovan has it. It was the crazy platform. He's running around the backfield like crazy, and then he just.
I saw that guy put 63 on the Canes one year at Syracuse.
Yeah.
Dude, I was like, holy cow. Dude, from that day on, I thought he was really great. He put like 63 on the Canes when he was at Syracuse.
One more super.
Miami hasn't lost to Syracuse since that game.
What's that?
Miami hasn't lost to Syracuse since that game. Yeah.
Your Miami's looking good right now. I'll give you that. They can't be playing behind 35-10 every game, though.
No. Hurts throws, Big Sills doesn't play from behind. I'm always the leader in the pack. Hurts throws 2 red zone.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. Hurts throws 2 red zone picks and fumbles the ball at the site of Myles Garrett. Hurts benched at halftime for Kenny Flickett. 2 gloves leads a 24-20 comeback win. Dude, do you really believe now the reason they didn't go after Justin Fields is because they didn't want to create any kind of backup controversy in Philly? There'd be more of a screaming for you to put Justin Fields.
Sucks.
I'm not saying he doesn't, but Hurts ain't playing. Dude, since 2023, Fields has actually played better.
No.
He's got a higher quarterback rating.
Okay, well, that's one of those stats you can't cherry pick. That dude sucks at quarterback.
I agree.
Jalen Hurts at his worst day, I'm still taking him over Justin Fields.
So you think the move was Kenny Pickett then?
Justin Fields couldn't dream of doing what Hurts did at his peak.
Agreed.
He couldn't dream of it.
I'm not going to pretend. I'll sound like Nick. I'm not going to pretend to make a case for Justin Fields.
Yeah.
I think they need
right now. Saying, though, it definitely would have.
They need to put Russell Wilson in now if I were Pittsburgh.
It definitely is interesting why they went with Kenny over Justin for sure. Justo says we win by halftime and Pickett comes in to finish. No, Justo, not happening.
They're not benching that kid. Just like they're not benching Deshaun Watson in Houston or Cleveland. They're not doing that. There's too much money and too many asses on the line, and it's an owner's decision in Cleveland. Dude, Jimmy Haslam did that. Andrew Berry, the GM, didn't do that. That was hey, who do you think got Aaron Rodgers? Joe Douglas or Woody Johnson? Who do you think brought Aaron Rodgers to New York? The GM? The GM doesn't have that say. Absolutely doesn't have that. Who do you think paid Jalen Hurts $250 million? Howie or Jeffrey Lurie? The freaking owner paid him.
Yeah.
That's why they make excuses for Hurts. Because you know why? He's coddled by the owner.
Yeah, well, the owner's going to have to come to grips real quick on what's going on because
I think that. Hey, wait. Do you think that powwow was the first sign of it?
Our owner's soft, dude. I don't see it. I don't see it.
He's going to put a documentary together on how to kiss the world and save the world. That's what you're trying to tell me here? How to save Philly. Rainbow Warrior.
I got to get the hell out of here. 6 p.m., everybody, tonight after this show.
You better go get your cup of soup there of like chunky Hurts, not chunky Donovan McNabb. Get yourself a little better. You're feeling good about your team. I could see already. Look at guys. This guy looks like he's got bubonic plague. Hey, Xander, good stuff, man. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for manning up. I can't wait to hear what Philly 500 says at 5:30.
Yeah, I got to send him the link now. I'm looking forward to it. I'm wondering how. I mean, look, Philly 500 loves this team, but he doesn't strike me as like he's more real. Like he'll be real. Yeah. I don't know if I'd like to see what he thinks this team is capable of this year, based on what he's seen. So we'll see.
That Harry High School video. I got a little more damage to do. Okay. Get out of here, man. I appreciate it, Xander. Thank you so much, brother. We appreciate you guys so much. Don't forget to catch Xander out tomorrow morning, Birds 365. That Kumbaya speech is all you need to know where you are right now with the Eagles here, man. They're trying to mislead you. I'll explain. Don't forget our good friends at BetUS. If you're looking for a betting house during this football season, like tonight's game, the 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks, big game, must game, I think it is for the 49ers. They got to win this game. This is your one-stop place. Great relationship now that we have with JAKIB and BetUS. Don't forget, our YouTube 150 sign-in bonus up to $2K, 150%. Your second is at 125. Your third is also at 125%, all the way up to $2K. Don't forget, 200% in crypto bonuses as well. Go to betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. Fastest payouts in the business, 24/7 personalized service, 365 days of the year. Live wagering on all major games. betus.com.pa. That's betus.com.pa. And do me a favor, you tell them Big Sil sent you.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Score and save at Southeastern PA and Delaware with Colony Pools this football season, and let the experts close your pool with a custom Merlin safety cover in green for the birds. And if you join our Winter Watch team, we'll give you another 20% off, and Colony Pools will handle it all. Keep your tiles on your pool, not in your pool. Fly with Colony right now, birds fans. Visit flywithcolony.com.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
but as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
As long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer 3 major services, the first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Heading down the shore, have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sales National Football Show. Please hit the like button. I don't know, man. I don't know where to go with this. Hey, by the way, you guys want a little positivity here? Would you guys like a little positivity? You want something positive? I think this is actually a great story, and it's not being reported enough. Before I get into that ridiculous, and I just posted it, that I think that Nick Sirianni pep talk speech is embarrassing and unbecoming. Nobody has that on their websites, a coach giving these heart and hustle speeches. It's absolutely obnoxious. And you're lying to people. You're making Nick Sirianni seem like he's George Halas. You want some positivity? By the way, guys, please hit the like button. Do you want some? Yeah. I'm not going to play it anymore because it's embarrassing. It's utterly embarrassing. You play shit like that for high school kids. And you don't even do that for college guys. Okay? You don't even do that for college guys. It's utterly embarrassing. Let me give you some good news here. And let me make you feel good here. Okay? On Sunday, Brandon Graham is going to play his 200th game as a Philadelphia Eagle, making him the first player in franchise history to play in 200 games. That's quite an accomplishment. Do you know how many players have played 200 games in this legendary league? Not many, let alone for one franchise. That's fantastic. I mean, that will be a great moment. A great moment for all Philadelphians to be able to see that guy represent one team, one city, and be in the conversation with the Tommy McDonalds, the Bednareks, the Reggies, the Cunninghams, the Jaworskis, the Bergies. He's in that room. He's in that room. And so let me give him his kudos. 200 games. Spectacular accomplishment. Spectacular. He belongs in the pantheon of Eagles. 200 games, one franchise. Hey, it's one thing to play 200 games, period. It's another thing to do it in one gear. Okay? At home, he's doing it. Not on the road, in front of the fans. And he's playing good ball to boot. It's great. Quite an accomplishment. Okay? And he's got a Super Bowl ring. You could make the argument that, is he a Hall of Fame guy? I completely disagree with Sal Palantonio. He is not a Hall of Fame football player. He's an Eagle Hall of Famer. And sometimes, here, let me ask you this. Think about what I'm going to say to you here. Okay? He's not an NFL Hall of Famer. He's not close to it. But, yeah, let me ask you this. Yeah, wait a minute, though. Would you rather be a Yankee Hall of Famer? Or would you rather be a baseball Hall of Famer for the Royals? Would you rather be a Yankee Hall of Famer or a baseball Hall of Famer for the Royals, where it won't matter? You know what I'm saying? It won't matter. Or would you rather be a Yankee Hall of Famer and enshrined as a Yankee? My point is, being an NFL Hall of Famer for the Bengals or being an Eagle Hall of Famer, you're remembered forever. Most people don't know all the players, all 300 guys that are in the Hall of Fame. A huge accomplishment because he was almost cut. Absolutely, Lucius, and thank you for the super chat. Flexing goes, dumb question. Thanks, Yale. I knew you'd answer it correctly. I'd rather be a Yankee Hall of Famer. Nobody gives a shit about robbing you out. Nobody. But in New York, they care about a Jorge Posada. They care about Andy Pettitte. They care about Thurman Munson. They care about and remember those guys. Robbing you out. Milwaukee Brewer Hall of Famer. Great accomplishment. I'd rather be a Yankee Hall of Famer. The most revered franchise in American sports history. And I'm a Hall of Famer with the Yankees versus being a baseball Hall of Famer. Fuck that. Right, Gail. No disrespect to the Royals. But you think George Brett is that revered over Derek Jeter? No. Brett was a better player. Brett's a better player. You're comparing fucking Royals to the ultimate sports franchise. I'm comparing the Eagles to the Saints. Actually flexing. Would you rather be an NFL Hall of Famer with the Saints or an Eagle Hall of Famer where you never have to buy a meal ever again in Philly? How about this? Would you rather be Nick Foles or would you rather be Archie Manning, a Saints Hall of Famer? Wait, no. Yankees are the MLB version of the Cowboys. No. There's 27 different reasons why that's not true. The Yankees don't hang AL banners up. They hang World Series banners. The Cowboys hang, like the Phillies do, NL East flags. Yankees don't hang NL East flags. Brandon Graham will be remembered for being a great Eagle. The Eagles are one of the benchmark franchises in pro football. Here, I'll name them. The most celebrated NFL franchises. What's number one? The Packers. Number two, the Bears. Number three, the Cowboys. Number four, the Steelers. Number five, the Eagles. Number six, the 49ers. Number 7, the Giants. You can move these around any way you want. Number 8, the Rams. 9, the Patriots. 10, Washington. Top 10 most recognizable franchises in the NFL. Washington, Patriots, Rams, Giants, 49ers, Eagles, Steelers, Cowboys, Bears, Packers. The rest of them are all just, Panthers, Bucks, Saints, Vikings, maybe. Arizona, no. Seattle, no. Chargers, no. Chiefs, got to be in there somewhere. Maybe the Chiefs knock out Washington. Raiders have to be in there somewhere. Maybe they knock the Rams out. The Raiders have to be in there. Dolphins have to be in there somewhere. Okay. Chiefs are new. 69. The Baltimore Colts. So you don't put many of the AFL teams. The Steelers have to be in that conversation. Yeah, agreed. Vegas, or the Raiders moving to Vegas hurts them. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. My point is, though, is that the Eagles, legendary franchise, kudos to Brandon. Hey, dude, Brandon Graham playing 200 games with the Eagles. That is something special. That is, you're up there with Chuck Bednarik and shit like that. Tommy McDonald. Guys like those dudes. Look, here's the level. Brian Dawkins, Bednarik, McDonald, Reggie. Second tier, Bergie. Jason Peters. Wilbur Montgomery. Mike Quick. Vermeil. Third level, Jerome. Seth. Lane. Kelsey's in the second level. Kelsey's not the top. He's not in that Tommy McDonald stuff and Chuck. He's not in that. Kelsey's a great player, but he's not those dudes. If you were going to name the Mount Rushmore of Eagle players, with Brandon Graham, would you put him on it in lieu of his 200th game on Sunday? Fletcher Cox is not a Mount Rushmore guy. He's not better than Jerome. He played longer. Who would be your 4 guys? Would you put Brandon Graham in your Mount Rushmore? Who would be your Mount Rushmore? Let's see. My Eagle Mount Rushmore would not have Brandon Graham in it. Okay, it would be I got Bednarik, White, and Tommy McDonald. Who would be the fourth guy? Brian Dawkins? Kelsey? Kelsey? Would you really put Kelsey on your Mount Rushmore? Over Dawkins? There's so few centers. I'm not putting Andy Reid, a guy who never won a championship. Okay? And you have to be Reggie White to be on the Mount Rushmore. Would you put Kelsey in Mount Rushmore of Eagles? Bednarik? No way. I'd put Dawkins over him. Montgomery, no. Kelsey's better. Dawkins. My Eagle Mount Rushmore, as great as Brandon Graham is, I would put Bednarik, Tommy McDonald, Reggie White, and Brian Dawkins. Who's better? Who would you take off that list? Kelsey created a standard. Not for the center position, he didn't. He's not the greatest center in the history of the sport. He's far from it. I could name you 5 that are better. Chris goes Dawkins, Reggie, McDonald, Kelsey. Over Bednarik, who was truly one of the last two-way players and won a championship himself. And by the way, was the face of Philly. You got to remember something about the NFL during that time when he played. Yeah, you got to remember. Tell me I'm wrong here. Ray Nitschke was the face of the Packers. Sam Huff was the face of New York with the Giants. Bednarik was the face of the Eagles. Butkus was the face of Chicago. Every one of those teams, what was it symbolic with? They were all middle linebackers. They weren't offensive guys. Blue collar, hardcore, hard hitting. You guys complain about these defenses that they play now and how soft it is. Where'd you think you got that from? You got a guy named Concrete. But Yale goes, the game has changed. Funny, the identity hasn't. You guys hate the Vic Fangio defense. Why? You know why? Because Philadelphia has been known for tough-ass defenses since Bednarik. That's why you hate it. How would you know any different unless you had a standard that has been passed down generation to generation? How would you know that? Because you had Gang Green, Chuck Bednarik, Bill Bergey, Seth Joyner. All of those guys had a standard. You had a standard. And he's right. Now it's the face of the quarterbacks. But the league was built on the face of the middle linebacker. Bednarik in Philly. Butkus in Chicago. Nitschke in Green Bay. Huff in New York. They were all symbolic of the league. That's how the league was. Blue collar, hardcore, defensive. Sam Huff was on the cover. Hey, Yale, he was on the cover of Life or Time magazine. I forget. Sam Huff. A middle linebacker, not a quarterback. Not Charlie Connerly back in the day. He was on the cover of Life magazine. Starting Mike Backer for the New York Giants. Was on the cover. Seals, all they did back in the day was run. Being run stopping back in the day made you famous, like Jerome and Reggie. defense was way to be the top team. That's right. It was. You set a tone. Sills, remember the Eagle defense stopped Emmitt Smith twice on 4th and 1? That's Eagle football. That's what I'm saying to you, man. That's what I'm saying to you. Pete, too, dude. That's a lost name in NFL history, is that name. That's a lost name. No question. Hit the like button, guys. You guys have been great. By the way, Philly 500 is going to join me at 5:30 Eastern. This the people I see play Reggie, Dawkins, Eric Allen, Nick Foles, just because he had a playoff run and brought us to the Super Bowl. Derek, those are all great names. Reggie White is the second best defensive player. You can argue he's the best defensive player. I've only said this about 2 defensive players, Derek. Okay? If you want to pick Reggie or LT, I'll take the one you don't want, and I'm happy with it. There's no other position like that between those 2 guys. If you want LT, I'll take Reggie. If you want Reggie, I'll take LT. I'm fine with it. Lawrence Taylor was just different, though. So was Reggie, though. Reggie's the most unblockable defensive lineman I've ever seen. Hey, dude, every time, Derek, you hear people say Aaron Donald is in Reggie White's league, you should slap him. You should slap him. It's not remotely close. None of those names sound like Lott, Rice, and Montana. Ronnie Lott's a heck of a player. And he happened to play in the LT era, or he'd be revered more. Jerry Rice is the greatest offensive weapon in the history of the sport. And that's not close. Reggie White is a great player. Jerry Rice is the greatest offensive player to ever play. Why? Nobody has 20,000 yards and touches the ball 4 times a game. And that's 200 touchdowns. It's unheard of. It's unheard of. Think about Jerry Rice. He averaged 4 catches a game, and that's 20,000 yards, total yards, touching the ball 4 times a game. And he's got 200 TDs. And nobody has 200 TDs outside of a quarterback. Only him. Nobody's better. He's the greatest offensive weapon to ever play in pro football. Not even remotely close. Nobody would. I think the next guy's got 150 or something in touchdowns. Reggie White's strength was out of this world. He picked up Eric with one arm. Sam, I saw him go through an offensive lineman once, pick up Chris Carter, throw him in at Warren Moon, all on the same play. He was remarkable. I told you the story how I met him. I didn't meet him through Jerome. I met him at a bowl game in 1983. It was Tennessee versus Maryland. And they closed down Disney World because we were going to the Citrus Bowl. And they closed the entire park down. They had just opened up Epcot. And we were going on rides. And Reggie was one of the absolute nicest guys you ever meet in your entire life. He hung out with all of us. We had dinner. Mountain of a man. He loved the Tennessee Volunteers. Right there in his neck of the woods where he was raised. He's just a super dude. I think Johnny Majors was the coach. Johnny Majors introduced him to all of us. Boomer Esiason was our quarterback. And Reggie was fantastic. Just a great guy. And that's where I met Reggie White, was at the 83 Citrus Bowl in Orlando. Really a great player. He was a great college player. So you think Howie is going to do something with the cap money that the Eagles have left? I think he's going to make a trade, but I think he's going to be a seller instead of a buyer. Okay? I think he's going to be a seller. Can you believe Bennett beat his sack record? Or Derek Barnett? No, I can't. Tom Brookshire is another name at cornerback. Tom Brookshire is not in the top 4 players in the history of the Eagles. Brookshire was a really good ball player, but he not like them 4 guys. Dawkins and Bednarik and Reggie and Dawkins. And he's not there. Chris, you should look back and be like, the Eagles have a great history. Great history. Okay? Of phenomenal players that have played in the history of that franchise. Spectacular. And again, this all started with Brandon Graham playing in his 200th game. He's the only Eagle in the history of the franchise to play 200 games. It's quite an accomplishment. Okay? Quite an accomplishment. Seals, who's getting sold? I'll personally pay for Darius Slay's 1 ticket. Seals, you think the Eagles are going to be loaded up on picks for the next year? Kyle, I said this to you. I think you're going to be better, way better next year and the year after. You're going to be way better. This year, you're not. Okay? Yeah, because Brookshire owned WIP. CBS bought it from him. I mean, that's how he got into CBS, working with Pat Summerall. Well, they knew each other, too, from their playing days. But Summerall and Brookshire were dear friends, obviously. And he got into CBS because he stole WIP to CBS. That's who ended up buying it. And that, well, hey, by the way, Yale, help me if I'm right on it. Xander, tell me if I'm right. Was it the frequency 610 WIP? Like AM? Wasn't it 610? I could have swore it was 610 WIP back in the day. And it was on the AM dial. I know you're on the FM dial now. But like 610. That thing went all the way up to New York. Just like WFAN 66 is old WNBC where Howard Stern was on. That was a great station. They've powered it down since, though. What kind of defensive scheme would you run? I'd run a 5-man front, Trev. That was successful against the Saints. The offense just needs to be RPO. So what coach would you bring in to run it? Todd Monken. So as much as I like Kingsbury, I'm kind of glad we didn't get rid of Stoutland. Absolutely. I'm not getting rid of. As much as I think Cliff Kingsbury is the right fit for him, I'm not cutting loose of Jeff Stoutland. If that was a deal breaker, I'm breaking that deal. I'm not doing that. The most important coach you can have, you heard Jimmy Johnson on my show say it numerous times. The most important coach you can have is an O-line coach. I'm not getting rid of the best O-line coach in the league for a coordinator. That's not going to happen. 660 and 770 came down here in the 90s. Yeah. Then they've powered those things down, Brian. You guys probably heard WFAN. And New York, I heard 610 when I lived in Stamford, Connecticut. When I lived in Stamford, the first sports station I ever heard was WIP because you were the first sports station. FAN came the following year in 87. You started in 86 or 85, whatever it was. And I was in high school. No, yeah, I was my sophomore year in college when Sports Talk started. On 660, they used to have Imus in the morning and Soupy Sales. They used to have another show, Captain Jack, and then they went into Howard Stern in the afternoons. That was WFA, or that was 66. And then they moved Stern to mornings to a different station when I was younger. It's the enormous signal. Covered like 6 states, 66. And 610 too. I used to listen to it when they would talk. Great interviews. Back when he was great. Dan, what if the Eagles had primetime Reggie White, Lawrence Taylor, primetime Ray Lewis? You could never pay for that in today's NFL. Like, get this. Pasta. You could never pay for the steel curtain. If here, let's do gangrene. Let me show you this. Gangrene. Today's NFL, how much does Nick Bosa make? Whatever Nick Bosa makes, add $5 million. You'd have to pay Reggie $40. How much you paying Clyde Simmons? $20? How much you paying Jerome? $25? That's $85 million. How much you paying Seth Joyner? $20? That's $105. How much you paying Eric Allen? $25? That's $130. How much you paying Andre Waters? $15? That's $145. How much you paying Wes Hopkins? 12? For you to keep gangrene, you'd have to pay $160 million. Just for that defensive starters. The cap's only $235 million. You can't afford it. You couldn't keep that team intact. I mean, your defense would be $160 million in starters alone. And I still got 3 other guys that I didn't add into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 4 guys I still got to pay. Be a $200 million defense. You're not paying that. Wes Hopkins was a fucking player, dog. He was great and underrated. Wes could play. I think he signed this. I think Wes signed this. Byron Evans, Andre Waters. Andre Waters signed it. Where the heck is Andre? I love Andre Waters. There, Andre Waters. Yep. Could pay for that defense. Seals, with all the money on Slay, Huff, and Bradbury, we could have paid Reddick, Queen, maybe even McKinney. Absolutely. But they're not going to spend that kind of money. They bargain basemented it. Okay? By the way, guys, do me a favor, okay? Please hit the like button. Philly 500 is coming up right around the corner here at the bottom of the hour. Don't forget our great friends at BetUS. Great game tonight. Seattle versus the 49ers. BetUS is our partner during this football season. Great time for you to be partnered up with them like we are partnered up with them. And right now, the YouTube 150 special, you get yourself a signing bonus of up to $2K. The YouTube 150, absolutely 150% bonus up to $2K. Plus, get this, 125% on your second and your third opportunities on signing bonuses up to $2K. 200% in crypto. BetUS.com.pa. That's BetUS.com.pa. Great chance for you to get started tonight. College football is also on Friday, Saturday. NFL football is on Sunday and Monday. Fastest payouts in the business, 24/7 personalized service, 365 days of the year. Live wagering on all major games. BetUS.com.pa. That's BetUS.com.pa. And do me a favor, you tell them Big Sil sent you.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Score and save in Southeastern PA and Delaware with Colony Pools this football season, and let the experts close your pool with a custom Merlin safety cover in green for the birds. And if you join our Winter Watch team, we'll give you another 20% off, and Colony Pools will handle it all. Keep your tiles on your pool, not in your pool. Fly with Colony right now, Birds fans. Visit flywithcolony.com.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in,
Decisions,
the dark.
the dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid
as long as you face the fear.
and keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer three major services. The first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wild brigade.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Yes, indeed. Big Sills, hit the like button here. Philly 500 is going to join us here in a couple minutes. I hear people, what are you saying about Josh Allen? Here's the latest numbers out of Vegas. For the race to the MVP award, Patrick Mahomes 1, Lamar Jackson 2, Stroud 3, Josh Allen 4. Let's see where your boy Hurts lands. Jaden Daniels 5, Sam Darnold 6, Joe Burrow 7, Brock Purdy 8, Jared Goff 9, Kirk Cousins 10, Kyler Murray 11, Dak Prescott 12, Baker Mayfield 13, Jordan Love, who hasn't even played, 15. And then Jalen Hurts at 16. How you doing? Yeah, you guys a bum. Josh Allen, how you doing? Nobody has respect for your guy. Nobody. By the way, speaking of that, hold on for a second. Hey, Dodd, look at this guy. Hey, Dodd, name me 2 receivers that guy has on his team. Devontae Adams, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown. Guy can't throw for $4,000 with those 2 guys. He's a bum. If you have those 2 guys on your team and you don't throw for 5,000 yards every year, you're a bum. Okay? You're a bum. Even Geno throws for 4,400 yards. You're a bum. Mayfield throws for $4,000. You're a bum. Yeah. Holy cow. Hey, I got to read you some of these. I posted it. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Okay? What they posted, the Eagles, on their Twitter page. Here's what people said. Coach cringe. Over on my Twitter, at Dan Sileo Show. Coach cringe. I seriously thought this was a Saturday Night Live skit. I can't wait to get Philly 500. I can't wait to hear what he thinks of this. Here. Hey, Sirianni. Can I get more brain busters? Make-A-Wish Foundation coach. Fired this guy already. Jesus Christ. Boy, I'll tell you what, man. When people start going south in Philly, you are relentless. We're getting sold a cheap we're getting sold a cheap bill of goods by this organization. He's a lemon. We got catfished. Holy shit. We got catfished. Oh my God. How come Purdy isn't under fire for being below 500? Because he's good. Because he's good. And he's not making $50 million. He's making $800,000. Get this. 85 wants to compare Brock Purdy, who's making $890,000, to a $50 million quarterback who has 27 turnovers. 27 turnovers in 22 games. Okay. Yeah, and your guy lost to Drew Lock. Oh, no, I'll say this to 85. No, hey, he don't stink, dude. Hurts stinks. Let's see Brock Purdy's numbers right now, actually. You say he stinks, right? Brock Purdy stinks? Let's take a look at that. And see, when you say Brock Purdy stinks, let's take a look. I don't think so. Compared to Hurts, he's Tom Brady. Here. Brock Purdy's 19-7 as a starting quarterback in the National Football League. His completion percentage is 69%. He's thrown 50 touchdowns and 19 picks. Jalen Hurts has thrown 19 picks in a year and 4 games. This guy has 50 touch. He has 37 touch. Here's Brock Purdy's numbers. Brock Purdy has 37 touchdowns and 15 interceptions in the last 2 years. And he's thrown for 5,500 yards in the last 2 years. And he's got a quarterback rating of 113. Last year, he led the NFL in QBR. And he stinks. And he stinks. And your guy can't beat Mayfield. Is that right? Still the Eagles fanboy's nightmare. Hey, Seals, I thought your boy Purdy was supposed to make this team better. He is. He is making it better. Dude, I saw a receiver last week. Hey, Xander, what's the name of that receiver that I never heard of that had 120 yards receiving? Jalen Hurts is complaining at a press conference that if you don't have AJ and Devontae Smith on his team, he doesn't really like and trust the players that he has in his huddle. I mean, no, not Brandon Ayuk. There was another guy he had where he turned a guy into a 100-yard receiver. I forget who the guy was. I mean, it was a nobody. I have no idea who he is. No idea. The Hurts era hurts. Here you go. Who's that guy? Thank you, senor. Who's that guy? Paris Campbell. Jahan Dotson. Holy shit. Got a bum for a quarterback. Seals, I would draft a quarterback from Ole Miss in the second round of next year's draft. Number 2 QB in the league. Doesn't need a wide receiver. He isn't Mahomes. Oh, Hurts? Shit, dude. Beat Mayfield first. Can't do that. Jalen Hurts will get better. Just watch. Peter, based on what? Peter, help me out here. Right before Philly 500 comes in, based on what are you saying over the last year and a half, you think he's going to get better? Based on what? Based on what? The season? Dude, this is not a one-game thing because you think A.J. Brown and Devontae been out. You had him last year. They didn't do anything. He stunk a year ago. Dan, you need to realize this offense is it's way different. Okay, I know that. I told you that in the beginning of the camp, that this was going to be a longer putt and a longer – dude, you had people like my boy Xander talking about 4,600 yards passing. I never believed that. This is going to be a slow process for him because he's not that good. He's going to get better. He's going to get more comfortable in it, the more reps he has. But he's not a passer. His development, and then, by the way, you'll have to tear it up again because you'll have a new coordinator at the end of the year, as you always do. And it'll be back to square one again, learning another system. Tell me I'm wrong. I'm not wrong because it's happened every year he's been in the league. I mean, on pace, he's on pace for 39.52. Hey. How do you have – you're going to have 2 wide receivers that are going to get 1,000 yards. Hey, by the way, do you think do both wide receivers go over $1,000 this year with Jalen Hurts as these guys have missed games? Or do both of them now don't get to 1,000 yards? You think both get to 1,000 yards? You know what they're going to do? They're going to make sure AJ gets his numbers at the expense of winning like last year. How you doing? There you go. That's everybody's superstar receiver. Make sure AJ gets his numbers like he did a year ago. What about winning? Fuck it. You didn't care last year. Keith Byers came on this program and said you didn't play championship football from Thanksgiving on. Seals, Hurts can improve with 7-yard plays, winning time of possession, methodically moving the ball down the field, F. Roseman, Laurie, and splash plays. Hey, Sam. Okay. He's right. He could. That is Sam, that's the formula. But do you truly believe that the owner of the team and the GM are going to let that happen? Did you hear Nick Sirianni talking at a press conference? I don't know what he was saying. I have no idea. Did you hear the kumbaya stuff? You got the owner parachuting down going, come on, guys. Get together here. Come on. We got to love one another. Like it's day camp. Hey, Xander, I feel like I'm going to day camp over at Ocean City, Maryland. Hey, guys, we're going to have day camp in Ocean City. Come on. You guys have to get together. We have to all be able to get on the same page. Okay? Honestly, man, it's like day camp. Jalen, I want you and Nick to have a conversation. I'd be like, dude, this is creepy. Don't talk to me, man. Talk to me like a man. I have to go talk to the guy? Like, he had to go talk. According to John McMullen, he was prodded to go talk to Nick. Like, this wasn't something. And I agree with John. I'm not saying he didn't. Jalen had to be prodded by the owner to go talk to Nick to kind of smooth shit out. Nick must have complained. Hey, can you two guys just get along? Dude, I have less conflict with my wife than Sirianni and Hurts have in a team meeting. I mean, these two guys, they act like fighting spouses. And you got like your dad coming in going, son, Nick complained again about your behavior towards him and not acknowledging him and giving him his shine on his involvement in the offense. I need you to make this a good thing. Please? Tell me you think that didn't go down like that. By the way, Philly 500 is going to join us. Tell me hey, that's John McMullen's move. That's a brilliant take. It's a brilliant take by John. Hey, I think the owner came in and parachuted this whole thing. And this guy acted like the UN. Coffee. Hey, let's get all these nations together here. Hey, Jalen, I need you to go in there and be a guy for me. Nick's complaining and crying. You should see the tears this guy has. He says you're not recognizing him and giving him any kudos for the offense. He says you're ignoring him. Oh, my God. I feel really wormy. That can't go on. I don't believe that. I can't. I can't. I don't know how you could go in there and look at the guy and tell the guy that I need you to go in there and make Nick feel better about himself. He's a Connecticut guy. I like him. He's all right. Interesting topic. I just signed in here. The Eagles on page has Sirianni, Spider-Man giving the team another rah-rah speech. Dude, I tweeted at him, too bad your quarterback hates his guts. Sills looks like he might be starting Trott's kid with phenomenal ankle injury to Dean. I saw that. About time these clowns start making moves. Hey, here. Where did this thing come from? Hold on here for a minute. Here's John McMullen's new version of Chuck Bednarik. I kid. I love John. I'm not ripping him. You know when I'm ripping someone. Okay, John ain't it. John calls me all kinds of stuff. It's all good. I love him. He does a great job, and he's great with Xander. Kobe Dean, ankle, limited practice. Holy shit. No way. Not already. It's only fucking 4 games. He got hurt when? Those legendary practices Nick talks about? Oh, man. Kobe Dean hurt. How? Fell out of his car. Ankle injury has become a flu. Hey, look, oh my God. Even Slagger's now throwing dirt. He tripped over the donut out there on the field. Yeah. Oh, man. Send Hurts to Ohio State. Nicky Deans hurt again. What a surprise. I saw his name on the first injury report. I said, Dean's hurt already? Shit, it's only 4 games. And he was in a bye. This guy got hurt in a bye. Oh. And then Nick comes out and says, I love my linebacking room. Hey, by the way, who's playing if Dean can't? Zach Bond and Trotter? Are you trying to get Deshaun Watson started? Are you doing everything in your power, playing 10 yards off the ball, 2 high safety, and Zach Bond and Jeremiah Trotter are your linebackers? Hey, by the way, is that really good tight end from Miami? Is that kid playing on Sunday? Boy. Hey, before I get Philly 500 in, let me, I got to do it one more time here. Hold on. Hey, I want to motivate. Hold on here now. Okay, I want to motivate him. We'll do it. We'll do it just for a second here. Philly 500. Oh, wait a minute. Did they take it down? Oh, no, they didn't. Philly 500. I want you to listen. Hold on here.
You got to be so hungry for this. That's the only way it's going to take another step. And are you humble enough to say, hey, this is what I need to get better at? Are you hungry for it? Are you starving for this? Do you want it so bad that you can't sleep? So we got to make sure that we are honest with ourselves and we attack this. We know where we're at.
This was posted on the Twitter page of the Philadelphia Eagles. Hey, man, I'm dude, I get goosebumps here from Harry High School. I'm ready to rock, man. Aren't you ready to rock? You got to be ready to rock, man. They posted that shit right there on the website. Without further ado, we so love when he comes on the show. He is our friend, the legendary Philly 500. Has to be motivated.
What's happening, Big Sills? Yo,
doing, brother?
I've never been more motivated to play football in my life from my living room. That guy is a true motivator. I'll tell you what. When you're down, look at Nick Sirianni will take you up.
Hey, wait,
Billy.
What's this? When I think of inspiration, I think of Nick Sirianni.
Oh yeah. I've seen the way he really motivates these guys to play. When you're 10-1, you're on a losing streak, a bad week. Those guys respond to him. They really do.
What do you think they're trying to accomplish by putting that out there like that?
I don't know. I mean,
Let me stop you here. I want to give you this because this is what John McMullen said to Xander this morning. They had this big summit between Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts, and he thinks the owner parachuted in to have these guys because now he said this. He goes, even Hurts' words. He goes, we were able to come together in harmony. I didn't know there was a problem between the two that was really as public, but I guess there was. And that the owner probably felt that there needed to be some airing of differences here during this bye week. Jalen even says, this is one of the most productive bye weeks I've ever had in my career. Do you think the owner made these two guys sit down during the bye week and air their differences out and their grievances out on why the team they thought was bouncing around a little bit out of the gate here?
I mean, to me, it's a little suspect that John McMullen would know that or just think that and throw that out there. He obviously heard something or knows something, in my opinion. So, yeah, they probably did. You know, what Jalen Hurts said, to me, told us everything we were complaining about, we were worried about it with Nick Sirianni being, part of this offense still. I mean, does it not tell you that he's got some sort of influence over what's going on? And Jalen Hurts probably doesn't like it. And he's done it anyways. That's probably what they were fighting about. I don't know. But there's obviously something wrong because we've heard all the rumors in the summer. Now you get Jalen Hurts saying that in the press conference the other day, and then you get the nice Twitter promotion to try to build Nick up. So yeah, I mean, we have a Nick Sirianni, or we could call him by his true name, Nick Kotite problem.
Nick Kotite, okay, Nick Kotite. You're right. It seems to be a public relations rollout here. Get this. Get the quarterback together. Is it? You're right. This is a Bob Lang special. Look what they did. This is a Bob Lang special. They got how many times have you ever heard Jalen Hurts back Nick Sirianni or give him any kind of kudos when it came to being a leader of the team? Isn't this the first time he said, we're the leaders of the team. We have to be together. And then, like you say, all of a sudden, then this rollout with this video comes out.
Right.
This looks like it's preconceived.
Absolutely. You got to build them up. I mean, also, don't forget, we just went through a whole week where they were on the bye week, and people were complaining, where are the Eagles? Why are they not practicing? They really think they could go on vacation for a week? So why not come out with, hey, we've had the most productive off week in the history of my football career. So a lot of it is I mean, there's some truth of what obviously what there's something going on between Jalen and Nick, but obviously I think some of it too is to try to show that they're all on the same page.
How about this one too? I'm not saying they're going to lose, but let's just say, God forbid, they do. If they lose by 10 points or 7 points on Sunday, do they fire him Monday?
You got to, right? I mean, dude, the Cleveland Browns may have the worst quarterback in the National Football League right now.
The worst offense.
Yeah, they can't move the ball. I don't see how it's acceptable by the Eagles winning by any less than 10 points. To me, anything less than that is unacceptable.
You think the defense then is going to show up against that offense?
I think even if half a defense shows up against that offense, that's still a pretty good day because, I mean, Deshaun Watson has more a higher rushing yard average than throwing yard average. He can't throw. I watch him versus Washington. He can't throw the ball. He's done.
Give me your take on Devin White and that storyline, and then I'm going to give you my kind of take on what happened. You tell me if you subscribe to it or you think I'm reaching. Give me your take first, though. I want to hear what you think on why that went sour.
I think something happened with Devin White and either that coaching staff or front office. I don't believe that you go into every training camp practice, which I was live for, where he's starting at linebacker. Then all of a sudden one day, Nakobe Dean beat him out. If Nakobe Dean beat him out, we would have seen signs of that at practice. And then go from, he's out because of an injury. Then he's out for no reason at all. Now it's personal. Something happened that they didn't even want to play him. And I think it's a mistake. But at the same time, it really would depend on what it is. But to me, something obviously happened between either the coaches, front office, and him.
Follow me here. I showed people a professional football contract yesterday, and you had playing incentives in it that you had, like, remember something here now in White. and I agree with you 100%. They had a base of 3.5, but they had incentives in his contract that would pay him up to $8.5 million. And if you remember right, there was roster bonus signings that you could have made weekly. So get this. He was on the 53-man roster, but he wasn't on the game day active roster for Sundays. He was a healthy scratch in all 4 games. He would have made $100,000 for being on the Sunday roster. And if he had started, he would have made an additional 90. He would have made $200,000 over the first 4 weeks. I think the Eagles went like this. Well, shit. I'm not going to pay a guy who's going to play just as well as Nakobe Dean. I'm not going to do that. So to me, because like you said, where did he beat him out? I mean, Philly, where did he win that job? I don't remember him in the preseason playing well. I don't remember him. Didn't he miss a lot of the preseason and the practices because he was still nursing an injury? I don't remember him beating him out. And let's just say this. Say he did suck. You never gave him a chance to suck really on the field.
Right.
How do you know he beat him out? I think this came down to an economics thing and why they didn't want to pay his contract out to start paying those incentives, so they cut him loose.
I mean, I never knew the Eagles to be that cheap. Not under Lurie. Lurie, I mean, those guys pay
at the
a lot of guys.
At the linebacking position, you see
they don't like to pay. Yeah, that's true. But man, it sounds like $100,000, $90,000. That's like a $20 bill in my pocket for them. It ain't nothing.
But so, it's $200,000. Look, get this: first 4 games, that's $1 million.
Yeah,
$200,000 is $1 million.
I have no idea, but I just find it weird. You can't tell me that you didn't even want to throw him out to see what he could do, or like come up with ways to use him to rush the passer, which he's really good at. He just lost his job one day. He was the only linebacker out of every day at practice that started with the first team. So I think there's obviously something weird going on.
I do. I'm with you. I don't see that here. How about this one here? How do you see this thing playing out Sunday? I mean, do you expect them to have a bounce back game and this be a comfortable win?
I expect it. I think that they need to have a comfortable game. They need to come out and just run over this team. They should be angry. To me, anything less than that, I'm going to blame on the coach and say, this guy does not get his team to respond. They could put up all the Twitter highlights of him yelling and saying stuff, but they don't respond. They didn't respond at the end of last year, and they're still not responding. To me, we're going to know, in my opinion, everything we want to know about how this team listens to him. They can say he's a nice guy and they like him and it's not his fault. But if you don't respond, if you don't come out versus Cleveland and run over them, I think it's a problem. I really do.
Are you worried about Hurts?
Yeah, I'm worried. I think there's way too many turnovers. Obviously, he's missing reads and stuff. But my theory on it is, before I can really circle it and say, all right, Hurts is a problem, we need another quarterback, we got to move on, or anything like that, I have to take Nick Sirianni out of the equation on offense. When he is gone and he is removed, because what if Nick Sirianni is screwing this guy all up? What if he's got this guy not liking the plays that are coming in, not trusting things going on because it's coming from Nick, and these are a lot of the mistakes? We've got to get Nick Sirianni out of the equation and let it be Kellen Moore and Jalen. And if it continues, then yes, I will say we've got a problem. But until Nick Sirianni is out of that situation, I don't know.
Let me say this to you. The best thing that happens, and listen, do I believe they're going to lose Sunday? I believe that 10-point, I'll tell you what, I'm taking the Browns in the 10, but I'm not saying they're going to lose outright. I'm not saying that. But I haven't seen enough of an offense. And Philly, everyone's like this. Well, they're going to get AJ and Devontae back in lane. Well, shit, you had those guys last year. Had those guys last year. Nick made a very interesting comment in his presser. Everybody says don't bring up 2023. Nick says he goes back 4 years and look at the process of how they do business in his presser. So when you and I are looking at 2023 and we're seeing the same mistakes, just different people are being in different positions, We're seeing the same mistakes. That's my problem with the offense right now. Just because you had AJ and just because you had Devontae, we're assuming they're going to be better. But that doesn't assume Jalen's going to be better.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know. I mean, we got to go out and play. But
where would this team be without Barkley?
They'd be probably what, 1-3 right now?
1-3,
something like that. But they should be 3-1. I mean, if you look at the Tampa game, I mean, come on. You have both of your best receivers are out, and you use him 10 times. You use him 10 times, and then you say, "Oh, go ahead, Hurts. Go out there and throw to these guys you don't trust. Do all this stuff." No wonder he's missing reads and he's holding on to the ball too long. You're putting him and setting him up to fail. That's how I see it. I mean, how did they set Jalen Hurts up to succeed versus the Browns? I mean, versus the Buccaneers 2 weeks ago. They didn't. They set him up to fail.
But Philly, get this, though. He said in the presser yesterday, he goes like this. He's like, he asked if is it Kellen's new offense and the lack of the personnel and the star personnel? He goes, it's both. He goes, your comfort zone when you have Devontae and when you have AJ in there, and there's a lot of new nuances to the offense. So you're telling me that guy can't elevate lesser players? Isn't that the role of the quarterback to elevate those guys as well? And that he's just in a comfort zone only when Devontae and AJ are out there?
My personal opinion on this is there are two quarterbacks in this league that can elevate guys that aren't that good. Mahomes and Josh Allen. Everybody else needs weapons around them to succeed as far as I'm concerned. I don't think there's any other quarterback but those two guys that I can look at and go, wow, they have less weapons than they do more.
So you think he was just being honest? Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good way to that's a good way to look at it. I mean, you're right.
What I'm also saying is that that's not I don't think that's like only a Jalen Hurts thing. I think literally 30 other starting quarterbacks in the National League can't do it either. You have to have weapons. Only two guys right now playing, I think, can play with lesser talent.
Couple last ones here for you. How much responsibility do you put on Howie for constructing this football team? I want to show you something here. Miss Huff, Miss Gardner Johnson, Miss Avante Maddox, Miss Nolan Smith, Miss Nakobe Dean. I mean, the two tackles aren't playing interior-wise up to their capabilities. Slay has been old. I mean, at the end of the day, all of these guys, especially on the defensive side, he's whiffed on almost everything here. And you look at the coordinators a little bit limp. I mean, look at Vic's system. I mean, you go like this. I hate Vic's system. Well, you hired him. You knew what he was. He was two-eye safety, and he played guys 10 yards off the ball. I mean, give me your sense of Howie's accountability in this.
Oh, I think Howie's definitely accountable. I think it's to the point now where if you get continued performance like you're getting from Jordan Davis, Nolan Smith, Bryce Huff, if this plays out the way this year's gone so far, I think you have to strip talent evaluation from him, or at least put somebody there that can be a true evaluator, because those are a lot of draft picks to miss on. Those are a lot of free agents signings to miss on. Listen, nobody was going to miss on Devontae Smith. Nobody was going to miss on Jalen Carter. I mean, to me, those ones that he's hit early were no-brainers. So I think you need a real talent evaluator. And I'm not saying get rid of Howie. I'm not saying he can't control the draft. All I'm saying is when he looks at his draft board and he goes, all right, this is our draft board, it's built by somebody other than him. That's what I'm saying.
Brandon Graham is going to play in his 200th game as a Philadelphia Eagle. He is the first guy in the history of the franchise. Give me the Philly 500 Mount Rushmore of Eagles in your lifetime that you would put on that. Is he on that list, or do you think there's four guys that you would give me your four guys that you put on that list?
My four guys would be Reggie White, Brian Dawkins, Randall Cunningham, and probably I might put McNabb or Jerome. It'd be one of those.
What about Kelsey?
That would be Yeah, I guess you could put Kelsey, but my specific, those would be my guys. I mean, those were my guys growing up. That's what I grew up on. So I would put those guys. I think Kelsey's fair to say because I think Kelsey's in that class.
Finally here, who's under more pressure in going into Sunday's game, Hurts or Sirianni?
Sirianni. I think Nick. I think
You
it's
think
a lot
he's coaching
easier
for his job? You think he's coaching for his job?
I do because obviously if the owner had to sit there and babysit and try to deal with him and Jalen Hurts, it's easier to go away from the head coaching than the quarterback you're paying big money to. So I think that they would get rid of the coach before they would get rid of the quarterback. I hope that they would, because otherwise you have a big problem, and we need to start loading up on first-round draft picks in a few years because I don't see how you could protect Nick over Jalen first.
I'll tell you something, man. We had your boy on Wednesday, Mark Holmes. Man, he's drunk. He's drunk with the fact that the Eagles are just stumbling around. He's 3-2 right now. And I told him he's going on a 4-game losing streak. I said, dude, you're going on a 4-game losing streak. That Cowboy team is not going to go anywhere. He told me he thinks that team's an 11-win team.
That team can only beat teams that are not that great on offense. If you have a decent offense, they can't keep up. I thought the Steeler game, I thought Fields stunk, to be honest, throwing the ball. And then I think Najee Harris looked really bad. And I don't think Pittsburgh ran the ball enough. But I don't think they can beat offenses that can go. So I expect Detroit to destroy them this weekend.
Absolutely.
So I think Mark will be coming back to earth real soon.
They're only drinking rum and shit. Like, this guy's a real aristocrat. Like, he's like the stupidest Cowboy fan I've ever seen.
Oh, you don't know.
That's cow, dude.
Yeah.
It's like Dak Prescott's his adopted son or something. The guy, I'm like, what about the little tiff between CD and Dak? I mean, hey, are you concerned about Washington now, though?
Yeah. Yeah, people tell me not to be, but I think they're the second best team, at least in this division. Maybe the first best team right now. I mean, right now they're the best team.
Right now they're playing better than Philly.
I think Jaden Daniels is a problem long term. More than just this year. I think that kid's the real deal. So I think that they're going to be good. If the Eagles get it going, I still think they're better. But I think Washington's better than Dallas right now, and they're playing better than anybody, like you said. So I do think they're going to lose 2 to Baltimore this week. So I think they'll come down to earth a little bit. But that Mark Holmes dude, his glucose levels right now are extreme danger. All the eating he's doing in his stream, I don't know if he's high on carbs.
Hey, Philly, jelly donuts will do that to you. Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Hey,
watch that guy's stream. Every quarter there, he's got a whole new meal on camera. He's just eating away. It's disgusting. He's disgusting.
Yeah, food flying everywhere, getting hit by particles. It's no good, man. Hey, man, I'll tell you what. This is going to be an interesting ball game on Sunday, man. They better put the points on and win this ball game convincingly.
I agree.
Or there's going to be a lot of comments Monday coming around.
I think this is going to tell us everything we need to know about Nick Sirianni this week. I really do.
Have a great weekend, brother. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You got it. That is our friend, Philly 500. Do me a favor, guys. Hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
He's blocked well and tries to cut through the middle. Oh!
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
Score and save in southeastern PA and Delaware with Colony Pools this football season, and let the experts close your pool with a custom Merlin safety cover in green for the birds. And if you join our Winter Watch team, we'll give you another 20% off, and Colony Pools will handle it all. Keep your tiles on your pool, not in your pool. Fly with Colony right now, birds fans. Visit flywithcolony.com.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
as long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
Hi everybody, my name's Jason Lombardi. I'm an inspector at DryTech. At DryTech we offer three major services. The first one being basement waterproofing. The second service we offer is foundation and structural repairs. And then the third service that we offer is mold remediation. If you feel you are having a waterproofing issue, give DryTech a call or check us out online.
Heading down the shore. Have a ball once more.
Here, imaginations run wild and time stands still. Because here, you can find the best of the Jersey Shore, all on one 5-mile island. So leave the old you behind and get lost in the woods.
Wild, wild, wildwood day.
Plan your stay in the Wildwoods today.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Ben Sales National Football Show. I appreciate you guys doing this. Is it a must-win tonight for the Niners? Boy, Seattle, man. That is such a well-run organization. I like how they do business. I really do. I love how they do business. Is it must win? Where are they right now? They're 2-3, right? Let me take a look at the standings here. And where they are in these standings. I think Seattle's right there in the West as well. The West is really competitive, NFC West. Seattle's 3-2. They'll be 4-2. And the 49ers would fall to 2-4. Seattle would have a commanding lead. Shit, the Cardinals win this weekend. They run their record to 3-3 on the season. Look at what the amount of points that they've surrendered. Look at the points that they've surrendered in San Francisco. It's not like they're playing poor defense. They're not. They've given up 106 points in 5 games. The Eagles have given up 96 in 4 games. That just shows you how good they are. Packers have given up 108. 49ers are playing good defense. I mean, they're playing good defense right now. So I'm going to assume that Seattle wins this ball game. And they win the game. And I would say 27-20. They win the ball game. And they right to ship to 3-3. Guys, I really appreciate it. I thank you guys a ton. Thank you guys so much. Xander says he's taking the Niners as well. 27-20 even without McCaffrey. Big Joe, Xander, thank you. 2-6 tomorrow. Enjoy your football, the start of week 6 of the National Football League. Football Friday tomorrow, and we'll see you on the flip side.